What is going on, ladies and gentlebeans, and welcome back to another episode of Tribe Talks. Today on the show, I am going solo with my boy Wolfie, because Carthrick decided that traveling was far more important than Tribe Talks. I don't know. What do you got to say about that, Wolfie?
The nerve of some people, doing things other than Tribe Talks. I mean, we'll forget that I skipped 2 episodes ago. We'll just ignore that part so we can just really hammer down on yelling at Carth for missing this and making plans and just so rude, so incredibly rude. I just can't. It's easy
to talk this way about him when he's not here to defend himself. What do I even pay Carth?
Yes,
oh no, wait a minute. I forget this is completely voluntary and fee. Well.
Wait, hold on. Well. Wait. I demand a raise. 100%.
I'll give you a one. What's 100% of 0 again? Oh yeah.
We've learned this. We've learned from double drops. 2 times 0 still equals 0. So I think 100% of 0 is still 0. Mm-hmm. But
that math
checks out. They may not be the same thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm using CG drop rate math right now.
Yes, so, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool. We got some stuff to talk about this week on our imaginary agenda, which we'll pretend is written some. Well, I mean, some stuff happened. Some stuff happened. Like we had GL layer requirements. We had confirmation changes to the crate raid in official forum post style, and raid cadence and frequency and all this sort of jiggery pokery.
And then more GL layer requirements out of nowhere, which was incredibly surprising. I wasn't expecting the first set, and let alone the second set. So,
because was it? It was Friday night stream when we had Meathead come on the stream and say, "I guarantee you, it's not going to take 3 weeks for the last round of requirements to come out for Leia." I didn't realize he meant it would be later that day. It was like, oh crap, okay. So we waited 3 to 4 weeks for round 2 requirements to come out, and then they were like, let's just send round 3 requirements the day later or 2 days later. It's like, oh, okay, I guess we're just getting it all now, which is kind of cool. I appreciate the early notice. It's funny to have the requirements before we've even had the marquee for Drogon. It's like he's not even out yet, and they're like, by the way, he's there. So that's kind of interesting. Let me pick your brains, Wolf. Overall opinions, on requirements for GL layout, good and bad, pros and cons. Let's go.
Ooh. Overall requirements. I got to take another look at the full list of all of them.
For sure.
But overall, it's got the 4 marquees, which is only a problem for right now. So that'll be a problem for for getting those initially getting that done when it's relevant. But aside from that, it's pretty much a lot of characters that we have already. It's Commander Luke up to Relic 7. It's Chupio was in the last set. These are a lot of really, really kind characters.
So we've got
they didn't give us Farm Boy Luke.
No, I was so surprised at that. I was dead cert Farm Boy Luke.
There we go.
I thought this was the time to shine for Farm Boy Luke. I was like, they're gonna do it, and turns like no, they're not gonna do it.
Seriously. I was envious. We got our boy Urban Blaster hanging out, and he is a big proponent of the Harvester of Moisture over there, Mr. Farm Boy Luke himself. And I was like, oh, I'm so jealous. He's going to be ready for the damn Farm Boy requirement, and now we're all ready because it's.
Are we talking are we talking like Relic 7 Farm Boy Luke double Zated? Is that what my boy Urban Blaster?
He's got a whole intro for the Harvester of Moisture, and it's awesome. Oh yeah.
Well, that guy definitely farm boys harder than your average Swigger player.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I remember it wasn't so long ago. Regular supporter of the tribe, Mr. Essex Hammer. Big shout out to my boy Essex Hammer. Got a little bit tipsy on stream one day and decided he had far too many Zeta mats. He had far too many Zeta mats and was just taking suggestions for random Zetas. He did come out with a double Zeta Farm Boy Luke. It was a good time. I remember just seeing them pop up in the chat. It was like Bodhi Rook Zeta, Farm Boy Luke Zeta, Farm Boy Luke Zeta. I was like, Essex, I know you got too many old Zeta mats there, buddy, but there's such a thing as a bad Zeta. So
friends don't let friends Zeta Farm Boy Luke. Okay.
No, especially not double Zeta them when they're drunk. He woke up the next day with a bit of a hangover, and he said to me, he was like, God damn it, what did I do? I was like, well, decisions were made, Essex. Decisions were made.
Look at guild chat.
Yeah,
look at guild chat and cry.
So yeah, I was personally super surprised overall. I was sure round 3 requirements for GL Leia is where they were going to pull the rug, you know, where we're like, hey, it's been easy so far. Now here comes the shitstorm. But no, man. Like, I look at that and I think, like you said, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I'll say the only possible like shitstorm character was Lobot, but it comes with the brackets of rework incoming.
Yeah,
so
which is
the big old FU character.
Like that's like its own little shit. So, but even when you think like my way of thinking about this is Lobot, super old character. Yeah, he's got no use. Yes. I don't really care when a GL requirement is just a crap character. Like, that doesn't bother me. Like, he's old. So that's 100 Cairo and a bunch of gear that you probably got thousands of. And if you're doing the crate raid, you can get his gear in like 2 raids. You'll be like, oh, okay, I've got 8,000 Mark 1 currency. That's basically Lobot's gear. You just go, bup, bup, bup. And it's only Relic 3. Low relics, old character, getting a rework. And I can't see the bad side. Now, I caught a little bit of flack on YouTube because I was like, I really don't want Lobot to be in the GL Leia team. In my mind, he's a meme, right? It's like Ugnaught, Cup, Lobot. Unless you're Urs, do you really want really want a galactic legend team featuring Lobot? It just seems wrong to me. It's
incredibly cheesy, incredibly silly, and I bounce back and forth between you, like, it's the meme and I want this, and just the hilarity of us like seriously discussing Lobot's mods. Like, we're gonna actually, if that actually comes to pass and Lobot is on the GL Leia team, we're gonna be sitting here and discussing what relic we should take our Lobots to, and what modding is to be best on our Lobots and minimum speeds, and this is gonna be the most ridiculous conversation ever.
You touch on a really valid point here. This is the sneaky thing about CG, right? This is the sneaky thing that it only occurred to me because I'm a slow individual, all right? I'm a slow individual, right? But the reason they keep on putting out these low GL requirements, you know, we had it with Jabba, pretty reasonable. Sure, there was like, you know, you get some Relic 8s, you get some Relic 7s, but you get Relic 5s, you get Relic 3s. They're pretty low-hanging fruit, right? The reason they do that is because they know if it's on the team, you're gonna high Relic it anyway.
Right.
So it's like, that's just the teaser. That's the teaser for you. That's to wet your whistle. And then you're like, we know you're going to take this guy to R7 or R8, so the requirements are R3, baby. So if Lobot actually features in that team, we are going to be having that discussion. I really think Lobot, he's been rebranded as a tank. You want to take him to R9, really, to fully benefit from Leia's leadership. And, oh my god, have you not remodded your Lobot for a 200% tenacity? With the way his new Omicron works and he converts that tenacity into offense, you really should be... and I'm just going to be like, oh my god. Take me back a year? Would we ever be talking about doing stupid shit like this to Lobot? God damn.
Like, what world are we living in?
Yeah, I mean, you know, cats and dogs getting on together. Mass hysteria.
Cats and dogs sleeping together!
Whoa. Now we just went to a weird Rule 34 area of the internet, I think. Man. Oh, my days.
However, so as MJ pointed out in chat, we've got like other reworks before. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. So Mob Enforcer got a rework and is sometimes used in like the raid splits and stuff like that. But for the most part, you're not using Mob Enforcer on the team. Gamguard got a rework, and you sometimes use Gamguard on the team. Gamguard's not bad. He's not the best. You know, he can be really thick and tough to get through. So sometimes you want Gamguard. But then you look at Royal Guard, and Royal Guard was a throwaway sort of B team, whatever. Oh, this is a tank who's now just like, it was just kind of there to exist, and now it's actually a just thick mofo that just takes insane amounts to get through. And so this could end up on any top tier.
Yeah. And let me, you know, I believe I said it on my video where I discussed it the other day, but just because Lobot's getting a rework doesn't necessarily mean he's actually going to be in the GL Leia team, right? It doesn't mean it necessarily. I know he is a requirement and he's a rebel, so it kind of can make sense, but it doesn't mean so. Like, they could completely fundamentally change his character. We'll have to wait and see. I was kind of disappointed we didn't get any more reveals about her kit because in week 1 we got that first, we got most of her basic ability. I was kind of hoping with these additional announcements we'd see a little bit more about her kit, but they're holding off on that. And I'm guessing we're not going to see much about Leia's kit now for a couple of months because there's too much time. With Drogon not even been a marquee, right?
Yeah, he's not even a marquee yet. They double dropped the requirements and everything. How far out are we until the actual release of Leia? Are we talking about end of September? Are we talking early October? Like I'm probably feeling end of September, but it's just it's a ways away.
I think was it Jabba's release that came out? He's the only GL that's come out without all of his characters being free to play farmable. Was it Skiff Lando wasn't quite fully available when he actually hit the holotables?
I want to say he was just in shipments, but this is the kind of question that we need Karth here for.
Yeah, he's the one with the brains. We're just like the lugs, the throwaways.
He's the whaley boy. He's the whaley boy, so he knows when the things were released and what was.
His name is Karthric, but really, in his heart of hearts, he knows his name is Whalerick. That's how he identifies. He's not a human. He identifies as a whale. And probably there is a deeper, darker shadow of himself that identifies as a kraken, but he's too afraid to admit it.
Deep down inside.
Yeah,
it is heart of hearts.
Deep down in the ocean, there is a kraken known as Karthric. But yeah,
in a hole in the bottom of the sea.
Yeah. So yeah, Ivoria's confirming it there for us. Jabba did not have all of his requirements free to play farmable when he came out, so it's not unheard of. It could be a shipments thing, which still gives us, what is that, like 3 weeks after the marquee, or is it longer than that? Is it 6 weeks? It might be 6 weeks.
4 weeks, I want to say. I forget how much. Yeah.
So
I don't know the shipment farm.
No, I never do, because normally I'm already farming something else that I would rather be more crystal efficient and wait for it to go to a node so I can refresh, because it's a lot more. It's nearly half the cost to to hard node farm compared to shipment farm. Obviously, you're trading that time for crystals essentially, right? So
right, I think we're pretty much on the same current projects right now. Like we're both in the future working towards GL Leia, but currently finishing off the Cal requirement farm so we can get Jedi Cal, and that's sort of like everything else is on the back burner or finished up, and GI and Reva's done. So
yeah, mine is finishing up Jedi Cal. I think most of them are 5-star right now. I've got Merrin at 6-star. They're all gear 11, so it's not like I have to. It's basically 7-star and give them 2 pieces of gear and they're ready for the Gen Knight Cal. But then it'll also be coinciding with the end of Conquest, the full end of this set of Conquest, for me to make. Me personally, I'm going to make a Terra Malicos team because that thing looks to be absolutely monstrous.
Oh my god!
So I've already my recent project that I just finished now in the downtime was I took my Fulcrum up to Relic 7 through the Omicron on there. I've built up a mod set for her that I'm going to apply when TW starts or when GAC starts, because I don't feel the need to do that big remod now. There's no point as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of doing: Jedi Knight Cal and a Malicos team, because I feel like that'll be 100% worthwhile, because he is just his kit is monstrous, baby. So yeah, I'm assuming you're gonna
absolute beast. Oh my god, I'm so excited for that.
Hell yeah, brother!
Holy crap.
You building out yourself a UFU team for Malicos, or are you gonna throw him somewhere else?
Oh yeah, I've got my UFU team ready, or not ready yet, but working on it. So farming up Seer, obviously she's the requirement, of course. UFU Cal I've had for a while. I've been throwing him on my raid team for a couple months at this.
He's great.
He was farmable a while ago, so he's nice. Nice plug and play just to throw him over
he's
there.
low energy Cantina node as well, isn't he? So like you can knock out Cal in like 2 weeks.
That's why it took no time. Okay, I was trying to remember why was his farm just over so soon? Like I feel like I've been having him for literally months at this point.
It coincided with a double drop, so a bunch of people did the double drops and farmed Cal, so you could get him done in like 5 days. Because it was double drops and it was an 8 energy Cantina node. I decided to use that time to farm signal data, because I was like, I need signal data, feed me. So yeah, but a load of people just knocked him out super, super quick. I recently, before Fulcrum, I took him to Relic 7 because I just thrown him with Raid. That 30% additional health, the bonus protection he feeds, awesome. Great character.
Absolutely.
Great character.
And I got my Fulcrum up to Relic 9.
It's spicy! That's a spicy take, Wolfie. I like it.
For reasons of sub-goal varieties.
Hey, as far as Relic 9s go, okay, she's no Gar Saxon, but I'll let it off, all right?
No, she's not. No, I have my Clone Wars Chewie too, so we got a couple of fun.
Well, at least he can go with Tarful. I mean, I'm trying to help you.
He just gets slapped around by everything. I don't know. It's one of those things, like the Wookiee team, like all these like extra B teams and stuff that we've been getting. Like they're good, but they're not like amazing. I may just like try and take some of them on offense just to see what they can take down. But for the most part, we're really stretching some of these teams a little bit. We could use a few more Wookiees maybe, because I'm not taking Chewie off my goddamn CLS team.
Or Chupio. It's like they're too good. They're too good. I mean, if the devs went so far as to say that they're designing GL Leia, the Rebel GL, to very specifically not take or break up CLS's ideal squad, then you know that CLS's ideal squad is too good to break up, right? They don't want you, like, nobody's taking Chewie and Chupio away from CLS.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
The CLS team is great. It is such a good team.
Oh, that's one thing that I actually I actually like about this new Datacron set, just to jump in real quick, is there's a Wookiee faction with Grit. So I don't know if you remember Grit or if you've looked at it, but it means you take reduced damage from percentage health effects. Yeah, so now you've got that on a CLS team, so your Wookiees, you know, Chupio and Chewbacca, now they take reduced damage from thermal detonators. It's like, I'll take it. I'll take it. Absolutely. Why not? And then this one's got the armor penetration substat. So you can stack up armor penetration for your CLS squad. You can throw a Wookiee Cron on there, take reduced damage from percentage health effects, and then maybe have the level 3B speed up on a basic, because all the assists, they're going to be gaining a bunch of basics, bunch of speed up, help you take more turns to chew through that jabber. I think that could potentially be a decent counter, quite reliable, but we'll wait and see. Wait and see. I'm going to build that one out.
Especially because they're all depending on the 300% defense Jabbas and everything. So
exactly.
All right, let me get my 300% armor pen. Cool. Good talk.
Yeah. Uno reverse. It's the no you counter to high defense. So I love it. Totally derailed
so they
that.
do
Sorry.
seem to be decent at... no, take it away, man. But they do seem to be decent at having the countering datacrons coming out. So the one cron comes out and has all the crazy defense, and the next one comes out has the armor pen to deal with all that crazy defense.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no resistance pen for my girl Fennec, but she don't need it.
You know,
she don't need it.
She don't need nothing.
She's fine.
I'm kind of surprised that they actually went for armor penetration instead of defense penetration, because last time I believe last set they didn't have defense, didn't they? They had armor and resistance as two separate stats, and we also had armor pen and defense pen. So you could
they've gone back and forth
build
a couple
them.
Times on those. Yeah,
it just seems weird. Like, I don't mind it. Maybe it was a very deliberate thing not to have Fennec all of a sudden start countering GLs again. But I mean, let's face it, she still does it. She still does it anyway.
She's always countered Lord Vader. It's glorious. Yeah. Oh my god, she's so fucking good.
But I'll be honest.
Farm your Fennecs, everybody.
Farm Fennec. Like, give that girl the respect she deserves. Like, she kicks people in the face. She kicks Lord Vader directly in the dick, and he just keels over. He's like, my one weakness.
Yeah.
Being kicked in the dick by a woman. I feel that on a very personal level. It's a good time. Farm Fennec. I actually want to take my Fennec to Relic 8. She's languishing at Relic 7 right now. So.
Oh, she's worth it at Relic 8. Oh my god.
She's a monster.
What am I at? I'm probably around like 13,000, 14. What am I at for my special offense? It's stupid, dude. She just absolutely slaps. And you get like a little bit of these offense crons on her, actually. And she'll be doing pretty good. You know, we said there's no actual specific, cron for there's no dark side crons this time.
No.
And there's no...
Which makes a nice change, because CG normally favors the dark side crons.
Yeah. But we are sitting at 13,866 special offense.
Ooh. So 13,866. That is monstrous. Let me check mine out real quick. But yours is Relic 8, I assume, as well?
Relic 8, yeah.
Yeah. Mine's actually running a speed set. Wonder why that is. That's weird.
Oh.
Yeah. Mine's only at 11.5. Yeah, I'm just lazy. Don't be like me. Don't be like me, guys. I'm just lazy. She still claps pretty hard, though. I mean, she's... Why the fuck is... Like, Hot Utils is dumb, man. She's running a speed set and she's 261 speed. And you know, she's got 11.5k offense. Speed. It's like, why are you running a speed set? I've got 6 more speed running a speed set. I need to slap Hot Utils around and be like, no, naughty Hot Utils.
And Fennec is actually one of those weird ones where I've had problems with her being too fast. Because like one of those weird things with the counter that people like can overlook sometimes. When Bam does his damage immunity move, he has a chance to remove turn meter. And Maul can have his turn meter when he has frenzy at 100%, can have it reduced.
Removed, which is awesome.
If your Fennec is fast enough, then she can actually cut in line, and the damage meter can run out. Yeah. And then she loses the DI, and Maul does his last dumps, and you're sitting there like, I had a Fennec there. I swear to God, she was right there a second ago. So I the one thing that slowed her down.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. The one thing for me that has made me stop using the Fennec counter against Lord Vader as a first team, so I don't mind using it as a double tap or something like that if it comes to it.
As a cleanup, it's very reliable,
yeah. If it's like solo Lord Vader, it's golden. You're done. Or even if it's just like 1 or 2 characters on the enemy team, they're done. Right. But it's when they run Thrawn and they start that opening move and Thrawn fractures bam. It's just like, that is one-way ticket to depressed, Phil. You're just like, oh, I'm dead. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's just like, there's that, 25% chance that he targets Thrawn? He targets Spam. If he gets that, game over. You're not triggering your bonus turn. You're not getting the DI. You're just dead. It's like, oh,
it's the whole Mr. Miyagi, if do right, no can defend.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
if you practice your bam, you're just done. Sorry, good talk.
Yeah, and that's never fun. So that's why I don't I'm usually quite happy to, technically speaking, take the L, and go for a deliberate double tap on Lord Vader, just by sending in something like, maybe you go in with like Traya to guarantee if they're running like a Lord Vader with Reaver. Yeah, so third sister, proper full balls to the wall, crazy Lord Vader set. I don't care if I've got to burn Traya to kill all the ads and then send in Fennec for a guaranteed 2-tap. I don't mind doing that, because it beats the hell out of taking in Fennec, hoping to clear some of the ads, and then not clearing anything, and just having your shit rocked against a preloaded Lord Vader. I'd rather play it safe and lose banners, so...
Also, in case anybody isn't aware, Scribble doesn't have Slacker, so that's why we're having this discussion about what to use to counter it instead of just using Slacker. Anyways, but no, the one time
a stream without you guys rubbing that shit in my face. One day.
No, actually, the one time I did see that damn team with Lord Vader and GI and Reva and all of them. Because I had heard it can be an absolute hellhole for Slacker to get through. So I just said screw it and sent in Traya and did the whole double taps, because it was much better to guarantee that I get through it in 2 rather than possibly get through in 1, possibly get through in 5. So,
yeah, exactly. Or like you said, possibly just find yourself screwed. It always surprises me just how well Traya is able to kill off all the ads in a Lord Vader anything team, really. Like, she has surprising levels. Obviously, you need the Omicron. You can't do it without the Omicron. Don't try, guys. You don't have the survivability. But with the Omicron, she can really deal with it.
The Traya Omicron doesn't work against Darkside GLs.
Does it not? I thought it still did.
They turned that off, right?
I thought it was just... I thought you still have the survivability. Oh,
yeah, I think
okay,
they turned that part of it actually off. So it's just Traya being Traya.
It's just Traya. Okay, ignore me then. I'm just being a moron. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Is it the Lord of the Patrol one?
But Savage is great in that team to help your survivability, all that sort of stuff. But because she was killing Lord Vader too easily, so they were just like, actually, screw you guys. It doesn't work against Darkside GLs specifically.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, when in Grand Arenas and if there are no enemy dark side GLs. Okay, ignore Scribble. He doesn't understand kits. I don't even know what Omicrons do, guys. Don't listen to me. So apparently, Traya is just that good. Yeah, Slacker is a mythical being that doesn't exist in the game, really. It's not actually there.
Except Slacker actually knows his mechanics better than me and Karth. But anyways,
that's a throwback to episode 1, guys. Go and watch episode 1 if you want to know I think it was literally about 30 minutes worth of discussion of me disagreeing with Karth and Wolfie. And I was so convinced that I was right. I was so convinced, and they made me doubt myself. And it turns out that I was like 75% right. So
oh man. Good times.
Just I was so sad, Wolf, I was so sad coming out of that. I was like, I'm just an idiot. I don't understand anything. So I woke up the next morning, I was like, man. Is that really true? But hey, is what it is.
No, makes sense.
I'm not sure how we got on to Traya countering Lord Vader, but I love it. Datacrons, I think, is where we were discussing it.
We're going Datacrons, all the new...
My Traya doesn't even have a hell of a lot of investment. I've got a Relic 5 Traya with Relic 3 on like Scion Nihilus, and it's still able to do work against Lord Vader. It just it blows my mind.
The sides, yeah.
Your
Scion may die to Maul blasts, but otherwise, he's they do pretty good over there. If you get your Scion up to like Relic 9, then you may survive.
Oh my god, that would be such a nice luxury farm. Scion or Relic 9 would be such a nice luxury farm. I'd love to do that. That'd be so nice. But hey, maybe one day, because it's not like we're going to run out of our Mark III currency anytime this year. It's not going to be stripped away from us.
Definitely not at all. No, totally not moving it anywhere. Definitely not a thing. I haven't the faintest as to what you could be referring to.
I think that segues quite nicely into what we could talk about next. So, Wolfie, we knew it was coming. We knew it was happening.
Yes.
Right? We knew the Mark III currency was going to disappear. But this is the first time that they've said it in no uncertainty. A lot of people disagree with me. They said, CG did say they were going to remove it. It's like, no, CG said that the featured raid will have its own rewards, and then this will be removed. This will go whenever the featured raid moves out. Okay, but that was before what they announced the actual reward structure was for the raids. And then the reward structure came in, and we had 3 currencies. There was no, nothing said in that post, Mark III in particular was being removed. They didn't say it, and then when the raid actually came out, they didn't also reiterate the fact that these raids, Mark III specifically, was being removed. It was a little bit ambiguous. And there is a large subsection of the player base that does not read the forums ever. The amount of people that are like, hey, what's this new Drogon guy? Who's this guy? I've never seen him. People don't read the forums. Most of the player base doesn't read the forums. Most of the player base has been investing in I'm going on a tangent here, in big teams for the new raid, right? For Crate Raid, they were investing heavily, and they weren't aware that these rewards are going to get stripped out, or at least Mark III was going to get stripped out. So, I blame CG for not being transparent enough on that matter, and not being clear enough on that matter. I don't like it still. How do you feel about it?
I will give them credit for saying something 4 months, 5 months in advance.
Because
we do have a lot of time left. Because they very easily, old CG, I could very easily see them doing this a month before the new raid releases, or 2 months, or a couple weeks before it releases. Oh, hey, yeah, by the way, new raid, and everything's moving, so fuck you. Thanks for investing. Have a good time. So I do appreciate that they at least gave us some warning, because we can now have this discussion of, it's 5 months down the road. Are we going to be able to hit the next box? Are we going to be able to get to the next thing? Or should we just start investing in the next characters and start investing in that? So it is good to have some sort of communication ahead of time from CG along those lines. And I definitely get what you where you're coming from with the where the rewards are going, because the reward structure changed after having been over here, and there was it wasn't directly said, it was a post said the featured raid will have Mark III, and then we were all inferring from that, saying that it's going to go over here. But we can put all that conversation to rest.
Yeah.
100% confirmed. No more Mark III in the crate. It's moving to the new one. Also, they're gonna change the new raid, so it's double the launch cost, and will run. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for that.
I mean, this this goes back to what you were saying about yeah, okay, maybe we don't fully agree with the fact that Mark III is getting stripped out of crate, but CG has given us forewarning notice, months worth of notice, because crate might not come till December. Endor. Speeder bike pursuit, whatever they're calling it, might not come till December. That is a lot of forward notice. Props to CG for that. Props to CG for doing this. So we only have to run the raid once a week. That is fantastic because crate burnout is so goddamn real. Like it feels like I'm constantly hitting that raid. And because you're doing it so frequently, everything gets figured out immediately and the shine's off the apple. It's no longer new exciting raid. It's like there's so much limited theory crafting that you can do with it, so it feels like if you're running it constantly, it's like there's no excitement there. It's not, there's nothing new to do. There's nothing new to learn. You can't overperform in that because it's just a case of just have relics on your characters and yay.
It gets more tedious than anything else than actually interesting. And
exactly.
I've said this before, and I will say it again, and I'll keep on saying it so I can keep on hammering this home. I am absolutely a-okay with them coming out with new content every
100%.
9 months, whatever. So we're not sitting there doing light side geo for 3 years in a row. We're not doing the Sith raid for how many years in a row. Like that got so fucking dull doing the same shit over and over, and it just. And this right now, I mean, we're doing this every 3 days, every 4 days, whatever it is. And it's really starting to wear on the whole community. So. I'm all for a new raid. I'm all for a change of the cadence. I think that's healthy for the game. Does it hurt for newer players who are trying to catch up and plan for things? Yes, it does. But at the same time, I think these raids aren't really for the newer players. They're more for the later end game players who are looking for stuff to do. So it's
I can see that. I'm like. The part that I get worried about is I feel bad for those early game players that everybody, every content creator, every guild leader, every officer is out there saying, get Relicate Jabba. He gives you 2.7 mil in this new raid. He does really well in TB. He's good on GAC, and all those things are still true as of right now, right? But for the early game player, it's so much harder to get a Relicate Jabba. And could you imagine being that guy that's been grinding it for 6 months and then finds out this week that you've got 2-3 months worth of that benefit left, and you're like, well, my Jabba I still don't have him unlocked. I'm still working on the requirements. Yeah, sure, it's taken me months, because for some people, particularly free-to-play early game players, that grind takes a long-ass time. And he's like, I've put all of this investment in, and now when I finally get there, I'm not going to be able to benefit. Like, I feel sorry for that guy in particular. I feel like that sucks, man. That's really harsh. That's the guy I feel worst for, or even the guy that's just hit it. He's just got. Let's say he's taken the Hutt Cartel 4-man team. So we're talking Jabba, Boba Fett, Leia or Bausch and Santi, and he's thrown that Omicron on Leia. Yeah, he's just got them to Relicate, like last week or something like that. And then he's like, oh man, I've just spent 20 Omicrons that I'm not going to get much use out of. I've spent all of my resources getting this team to R8, so yeah, I can get that 2.7 mil now, but I'm broke on resources, and now I have to think about getting a new GL for a new raid in 4 months. It's like, oh man, it hurts my soul. It doesn't bother me personally, like when the new raid comes in, I'm sure I'm going to be fine, but
I'll say at this point in time, putting that Bush Omicron on would really, really hurt, because I had done it back when it was we got the partial refunds. It was 10 Omicrons back, so
same
half price for how it is. That was worth it. At this point, definitely not. At this point, I would not say to put the Bush Omicron on unless you're just are just overflowing in Omicron materials because you're a super whale, and I don't know why you don't have that already. But anyways, at least we know there's going to be an 8 to 9 months cadence. At least we know there's going to be that, so the new players can hopefully plan a little bit more accordingly, and hopefully have a little bit better experience with that moving forwards.
For sure.
Because that is definitely a big thing. Where you're taking your roster. Because when it was, the Sith raid was always active, and the HAT raid was always active, and all these things were always active. You had targets, you had these things that were constantly there, so you knew what you were building towards, so you could get through those raids and everything. And now, it's 9 months from now. Who knows what we'll be talking about? Who knows what factions will be in the next ones? Who knows what teams will be using? Will there be some crossover? Naturally, eventually there'll be some crossover. There may be some stuff you have, maybe some stuff you don't have.
That's what I've got to hope, is that these characters that they're giving raid Omicrons to, that they at least make them feature, maybe not in like the raid preceding it, the one that they particularly were used in, but maybe a future one, bring them back into the loop, because that is just is so harsh. I mean, I'm hoping that we don't currently have Scout Troopers Omicron in the game, right? The ability isn't even there, is it? They've locked it until the raid is coming out, I think they said. So you can't even apply his Omicron right now, right? But I'm hoping when that comes out,
of the raid yet,
no, we don't. I'm hoping when that comes out, it's half price, because why would you invest in it would have to be phenomenal to warrant spending a full Omicron for something you know you're only going to benefit for 9 months. Because once this raid goes, there's no point in running either the speeder bike raid or the crate raid.
Right.
You might as well run Sith. HSTR, you'd get the same rewards unless you're going to whatever is the new raid, right? You might as well run HSTR, because you can go in, you can solo it on auto very quickly with a crappy team and get just as much rewards and not need a raid army. So it's like, what do you think? Do you think they're going to have a cheap army on Scout, or do you think they're going to go full whack?
It would be nice if it was going to be if it would be a half price for the raid Omicrons, if they could just make that like as a rule, like going forwards, the raid Omicrons were all half price. I don't think they'll do that. I think that the Leia was like a one-time kind of thing. Yeah. And let's be clear, the Leia Omicron, hugely impactful for that raid.
Massive.
The Scout Omicron. Oh yeah, we're really gonna have to see. Is it that game-changing for the raid? Is it that, that impactful for the raid, where applying it just gives you an easy, don't even need to think about it, 2.7, and then after that you're gonna figure out the rest of the teams. Is it gonna be to that level?
I'm trying to think how can they make it like really desirable, because the massive benefit for the Bausch Omni was it made it a lot easier, but the real benefit was you could save yourself an R8, right? You can short man it.
You could undersize, yep. Exactly.
Are you going to be able to do that with Scout? There's only 3 people in each raid now. Can you do that? Can you maybe with the Scout Omicron solo a 2.7 mil? I would consider it at that point.
For a 5-man team, yeah.
Could you
just relatively speaking, an Omicron for a 5-man team versus an Omicron for a 3-man team, for like however many teams you have to run in that raid, just like mathematically, relatively speaking, it's like that much more or less value. So yeah, I'm 100%.
Exactly. So 100% it's like if the power of that Omicron is so significant that it gives you that value, so you don't have to relic additional characters, then maybe. Or conversely, if it's a case of he elevates otherwise but the thing is, even if he elevates otherwise trash teams, you're still then going to have to relic 7, relic 8 those trash characters, otherwise you can't even enter that higher tier of unit to score those top points. So I don't know how they balance this. I don't know how they balance this Omicron, unless the final tier of this speeder bike raid is so difficult that without the Omicron you are not scoring 2.7. or whatever the max points happens to be, because we don't know if it'll use the same point structure. It could be entirely different. So I don't know.
For 3-man teams, it could be a complete toss-up.
Yep.
Yeah. Could be a complete toss-up for the 3-man teams, with the balancing of that, with how things will go out. Because just the balance of this, and how do they even do that? Seriously, this could be rough.
I don't know, and we don't even know if they're going to be changing up the number of teams that we get to submit a score for. It might not be 5 teams.
I would assume so. With only 3 people on a team. I would expect instead of 5 teams, probably like 8 teams.
Yeah. It could well be. It could absolutely be 8 teams. I mean, from CG's perspective, that's money in the bank, right? They're like, oh, that's more teams that people are going to be encouraged to Relic 7, Relic 8 to get to those higher tiers, to get the higher point rewards. So I don't know. There's too many unknown variables right now. It's I don't know, because for me personally, I don't think if all this Omicron does is save me a little bit of time in RNG, I'm not sure if that sells me enough on wanting to throw an Omicron on him for a what I know to be a relatively short-term investment. If it saves me so much stress, then maybe. What would it take for you to throw it on, Wolf?
My Jabba runs is pretty much once. Like I send in Jabba pretty much as long as I don't get the absolute worst RNG in the world. My Jabba runs are, I land it up and Boba shoots his rocket before the crate dragon even buries the first time, and I'm just done. It takes no time at all and just puts it on easy straight. If it's something like that where I can just get like a not even thinking about it 2.7 million, because we'll just use this as a number because it's the current max. If we get an easy 2.7 and it's not even thinking about it, then I'd probably apply. If I can save myself that much time, that much trouble, that much effort, then probably I would go for it. I do tend to enjoy the PvE content, so I have invested in raid teams that I probably shouldn't have, like the 7 Tuscans, anyways.
I've heard Ram still doesn't know what Tuscans do, so...
Nah, who cares? So we're... but yeah, it's a really fun team. It's a really, really fun team, but it's at this point probably not all that necessary. If it puts it on easy street, if it puts it to a level that I don't need to think about it, I don't need to put any extra crazy effort over there, so I can try with the other teams and just be a one and done. I don't need a remod. Additionally, that
is a huge point, Wolf. Yeah, especially because if we are thinking that it's if we're assuming that it's going to be more raid teams, and in particular, we know with this that CG is changing the abilities of our characters, and they said specifically that Jedi Knight Luke is going to benefit from potency, which means you're going to remod for this. Yeah. If it saves me having to remod, that might be the final nail in the coffin for me, and I might actually apply that on me, because if we're doing 8 teams, I am not remodding 8 times. Currently, I only remod for Mandalorians in the crate raid, because you need specific modding for that team. Otherwise, you're not hitting 1.8 mil in my case for. But I mean, you wouldn't hit the 1.2 mil at Relic 5 without remodding, because you need to have stupid fast armor. You need to have high potency Bo-Katan. That's also pretty fast for her. So it's like, I don't think unless you just leave that mod set on, which in that case, it means you're most likely screwing over the modding on other characters in your roster for the sake of not remodding every 3 days. But I digress. If it saves remodding,
tier, that means keeping on a 361 speed armor, and that is a hell of an investment to just keep on armor. And
modding your Canderous for potency, like.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even really use my Canderous at this point. It would be nice if I could, but unfortunately, Lord Vader takes Maul. That's just kind of... Guys, if you got Lord Vader, he goes with Maul. Do not be the guy that's like, I could get 2 teams. No, don't weaken your Lord Vader team. Keep Maul there, but that just means Canderous and the rest of the Mandalorians until we get some kind of, I don't know, leader of Mandalore, Bo-Katan, which I'd be down for, by the way, as a new leader for Mandalorians. Gimme.
Only exception is if you're using Lord Vader on offense. Then Lord Vader can
that's
do things
completely
on his
different.
Own, and that's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, do not break away Maul from Lord
valid.
Vader. It's a mistake. It's not a good idea. Please don't do it.
No, because you see it on defense and you just
unless you're facing me.
Oh,
unless you're facing me, then you should do it all the time, always. Yes.
Or alternatively, if you're facing me as well, and in that case, can you also remember to not apply a datacron and just strip all the mods off your entire team? That would be fine. Then you
who needs mods anyways?
Yeah.
No.
I know.
It's overrated.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. God, with datacrons around, who
They're
needs mods?
micromanager characters? They're much better on natural. Come on.
Exactly. I play the game the way it was meant to be. Before the days of modding. That's right. I don't take any characters beyond gear 10. Because that was the limit. Level 60, gear 10. Let's go, baby.
There we go. Oh, wow. You couldn't even get to level 69.
Wow. Well, that kills all the memes. Damn. Poor Cup.
Man. All right. Well,
poor Cup, you'd never get any levels.
So sad. Speaking of which, I'm pretty sure my Lobot is actually currently... yep, he is gear 1, 7-star, level 69. Good boy, Lobot.
Let me check my Lobot. I'm not even sure. Do I even have... I think I do have a 7-star Lobot at least. I don't think... Oh, I do. But mine's just level 50, so I didn't even go for the memes.
Oh.
I went for the mod mule Lobot.
Yeah.
He's level... He's got 6,588 power. He's got 2 potency sets and 2 health sets. So I wonder if that's deliberate. Gear level 1 and just level 50. I hope they update his model as well. I hope he gets a model update more in the line of Fulcrum than our boy Thrawny. But
oh my god. Seriously, Thrawn is a foot too short. He's seriously, the actor who plays him is 6'4", and the character model is 5'4". This is absolutely insane.
So what we're trying to say is, it doesn't matter how much of a Sigma male Thrawn is, because he's 5'4", he's not getting any partners at all. He's too short. I'm sorry, it is the way it is. I don't make the rules.
I'm not ragging on him for being short, but the freaking actor is Danish. He's 6'4", guys. Come on, get your shit together.
But I mean, it's like Thrawn even in EU is not supposed to be short, is he? Chiss are generally supposed to be
no, he was
tall,
a tall guy, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not even just the actor. It's like even in Legends, Thrawn is not a shortcake. He's not a shortcake. He just looks, there's something off. It's like that uncanny valley effect. You just look at him, you think, there's something really fucking weird about this Thrawn guy. And to be honest, I quite like the original times.
The original was nice. The Rebels model Thrawn, I like that. But as was pointed out, it's also the pants. The pants are like super like wrinkled and bunched up like around the knees and everything. And he just looks like so much shorter because it looks like he's wearing clothes that are too big for him. So it's just, it doesn't
you heard
work
it here
out.
First, guys. It's all about the pants. It's all about the pants.
All about the pants.
Yeah. So I actually put out a video because there was on the Swigger Events Discord page. There was they had the art data mine, and I was like, wow, are we getting new Thrawn, new Ahsoka coming out? And no, it turns out we were just getting, model rework. So I had a bit of egg on my chin, but it's okay, I don't mind. I got excited for a moment. What can I say? What were you gonna say, Wolfie?
No, I'll just say somebody's comment in chat reminded me about him about Thrawn flying. If you look at his if you're facing the Chimera, the character model, he's just Disco Thrawn. He's just pink. It's like you've seen like the old Pokemon show. Who's that Pokemon? Who's that Smigo character? It's Thrawn.
Who's that pilot? I don't know what. Who's that capital ship pilot? It's Thrawn. Yeah. Whoop. Yeah. No, that's funny. I actually did a I pushed out a video earlier today on countering the Leviathan, and it was one was with profundity and one was with the Chimera, and of course people were commenting, why is Thrawn pink or why is Thrawn purple? I was like, yeah, CG forgot to replace the asset there, so he's it just is all kinds of messed up. So yeah, it is what it is.
It's a goof that we profit from because it's an amusing goof. Yeah. And it doesn't actually affect gameplay. It's just funny, and we get to make fun of them, and all is well.
Yeah. It's not quite as funny as the TIE Interceptor or the Mark 6 Interceptor being able to blow up a capital ship, because that has to be the funniest bug I've ever seen in this game, bar none.
That was a good couple of weeks.
It's just like
that was a
basic,
very good couple of weeks.
And the capital ship just goes, poof. It's like
my favorite is how long it actually takes the blaster bolts to get there, because the lasers sit there and like fire slowly over the whole distance. Like wait. Okay,
it's so funny because it actually shows that in this game there is such a thing as depth. Like,
right?
It's not like the picture is small. It's not like a trickery of angle. It is actually the battlefield. It has that depth to it. So it's just funny watching that bullet just go.
It's like when we're back to the Crate Dragon real quick. It's like when you're using somebody who's a melee character go attack one of the bombs in the back. You're just like, excuse me, good sir, Crate Dragon, let me run past you real quick while I go and blow up this bomb. Okay, I'm back now. Thank you, good sir. It's like 10 seconds later. Okay. Oh man!
Wasn't there? There was another bug a couple of months ago in Fleet where sometimes one of the reinforcements would be really far back, and it would just be like hanging out in the background. So you'd shoot that person, and it would be like, pew, and you're like, "What are you doing over there? Well, like, are you scared? Come on, come over here, buddy. Come join the rest of us." Oh my god! Yeah, it's good times. Good times. I like a good humorous bug.
When they don't actually affect things, they don't actually like make you lose the game because like, oh, your buttons disappeared. When it's fun bugs like this, I'm okay with those.
Yeah. When it's not a game breaking bug, I mean, you can argue that the Mark 6 interceptor destroying a capital ship is kind of game breaking, but I honestly, I don't think it's actually that impactful when it's in play. I'm not saying it shouldn't be. It should be a thing, but it wasn't. It didn't really actually make that much of a difference in my matchups. It's like I could just as easily win by destroying a ship as destroying the capital ship. It didn't. With the profundity, when you'd hit your ultimate, you steal their capital ship anyway, and that capital ship benefit back then pre-bug fixes wasn't giving you a massive benefit. Now it does, but like back then it didn't really make a difference. So I was like, okay, it doesn't really matter.
At that point, the battle's pretty much over anyways. So you pull out your Mark 6, and at that point you pretty much have your capital ship like takeover ready to go. So it's 6-1, half dozen of the other. So it really, And sometimes it's more important to remove something like the Rebel Y-Wing to stop that thing just staying there for an eternity and healing up the entire team. Or even, killing the Outrider or the Millennium Falcon. I don't know. It was just funny to watch. It was funny to watch. You like the bug you had where everyone looked like they were lying down? Oh, yeah. Do you remember that one? It would be like Daka reviving, and they'd be like doing a Matrix bullet dodge. I'd have some screenshots like that of just Talzin sitting there like this, like splayed out on the floor, and then she'll just like as they're like attacking and doing stuff. Yeah.
She's attacking you with the limbo technique.
Oh, so silly. And then every once in a while, I had some times where they would get like stuck, but like in like way back in the opposite direction. So like, you know how this capital ship would be like off on this side, and you have to like go and travel a ways away to go over there. I had one where somebody was stuck in the opposite corner, and Dooku would sit there and take 15 seconds to sprint up to the guy to do
and then go again.
And it was oh man.
It reminds me of good times. When Jabba uses his ultimate, it moves the character, doesn't it? And there's a particular map on Hoth, the one that's got the doors in the back. And when Jabba uses his ult, sometimes what can happen is the character who uses his ult calls the Rancor into eat. The character will move to behind the doors, so it looks like he's leaving. He's like behind the doors in the background, and the Rancor eats him. You're like, that's awesome. Where you going? Where you going, buddy? It's just like
I've never seen that before. That's awesome.
Well, or I suppose the other one is Sith Marauder with his flying lightsabers. They'll just be chilling somewhere. They're just staying. Stack up.
Yes. You're sitting there on the holo tables. It's just like spinning lightsabers just showing in the middle. Like, I don't think that's safe. I don't think they're supposed to be there. No, I don't. I just want to
probably going to destroy something. No. Yeah. I mean, somebody could burn themselves on those things. Those are dangerous. Where's the health and safety crew? I mean, come on. You got to worry about those lightsabers.
The astromech carrying the drinks might drop them.
He's got some cocktails on that little hood of his. Like that's I would be, and alcohol is flammable, guys. Let's not forget. So we could start a fire. It's safety first, always. Safety first.
We've never... Have they ever, like, done that in Star Wars? Like, had alcohol and lightsabers ignite something? I'm not sure it's ever been a thing.
That's a missed opportunity, because there have definitely been scenes inside bars with lightsabers. Nobody's lit a flaming sambuca with a lightsaber yet. That's how I would do it.
I feel like this is a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it is a missed opportunity.
I feel like Anakin would have done that a while ago. Like, he was on, like, Naboo with Padme. This feels like, we show off over here and see what else I can do. This feels like something he would do.
I'm going to commission a Star Wars What If, all right? Hear me out. General Grievous. The real reason he's coughing is because he's got a cigarette addiction, and he lights all his cigarettes with his lightsabers. He gets like 6 in his mouth, and he just goes... Bzz, 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 lights his cigarettes with those, and that's why he's always coughing. You know? And then he dies of lung cancer. That's the real thing. He kills all the Jedi. He kills the entire Jedi council, kills all of them, becomes the ultimate master, but then he realizes in his depressed state that there are no more worlds to conquer, and he just slowly succumbs to lung cancer. And it'll be done in a film noir-esque style. You know, it'll be black and white, and it'll have some groovy background music, and he's going to have this internal monologue going on. I'm sure that would sell.
I got.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Disney, hit me up.
Correct us. Death sticks. Ban correct us. Death sticks. Yes, not cigarettes. Death sticks. Yes.
Yes. He's got a death stick addiction. Yeah, want to buy some death sticks? It's like, no, you want to go to a separatist droid leader. You're like, I want to go to a separatist droid leader.
I love that the guy's name. You know his name, right?
Oh my god! It's got a stupid fucking name.
George Lucas names frickin' everybody in these goddamn movies. And that is, the Death Stick Man is none other than Mr. Elan Sleazebagano.
That's it, Sleazebagano. It's like, oh, this guy's a sleazebag, so let's put that into his name. He's Elan Sleazebagano.
Oh, man. So good.
God damn. God damn.
It's the little things. It's seriously, it's just the little things. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Shit. All right. What do we?
What are we talking about? We discussed.
I don't even know.
We did talk very briefly about Crate and how stuff that's changing there is stuff, and then I think we touched on raid Ommies and their short-lived nature in the current raid universe, as it were, and that somehow degraded into Grievous and Sleazebagano's destroying the Jedi Council and getting an addiction and dying. So I think it's been a successful chat so far. Where are we going next?
Easy. I would say so. I don't know, what do we got? We got Leia, we got all the we talked about Leia, we talked about that stuff. We talked about Datacron's set. We touched on those briefly.
We touched on Datacrons very briefly. Is there any Datacron sets that in particular that you're building out right now that you're looking to take advantage of? Because I feel like this set is not quite as exciting as the last set, but it's got a couple of gems in there. So the stats are definitely not as good.
Yeah, it's mostly like the Jedi one with the Foresight.
Oh yeah, you can make monstrous Qui-Gon
for a couple of those. You want to be looking at, like we said, the speed up on basic for the level 3s. I think mostly you want to be taking a look for those. Yeah,
that works out quite well for a CLS team in particular. I think it'll work out pretty well on a Momo team as well. You know, because anything that assists, all those abilities are basics on an assist. Giving you speed up is nice. I can't remember. Is there a level 6 on this new one? I'm just taking a look now. If there's a level 6 that gives you stacking stats whenever you gain a buff, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it was just the Foresight one over there.
Okay.
The rest of the level 6s aren't all that insane. The 50% or more turn meter damage was reduced by 75%. That one has come in handy every once in a while, but that's a kind of a hit or miss. You never know. Will you be above 50% turn meter? Will you not be? That can sometimes come in really clutch, and sometimes can be utterly useless. So
it's just it takes control complete. Like the control for that ability is completely out of your hands. which is a bit of a shame, and it doesn't apply to GLs, which are obviously going to be the fastest characters in the game, so the likelihood of them having over 50% TM is quite high, right? And so I believe they specifically don't work with GLs, right? Oh, yeah, because if non-Galactic Legend Jedi allies have 50% or more turn meter, damage they received is reduced. Because 75% damage reduction is enormous. That's like, you are not killing huge. Something. Like, you know, because it's just
for example,
DR.
I had seen.
You can't mitigate.
I remember like a while ago, they had that ability for Rebels, and I remember seeing Calvin Awesome go in one time, and then just take his Rebels and go and blow some people up, and then piss off Anakin. Anakin has his AoE ready with all the crazy bonus damages and offense from his Qui-Gon, and he had over 50% turn meter. So Anakin does this big old fucking AoE, and then just nothing happens. You're sitting there like, whoo, 25% damage. Okay.
Yeah, it's because if he normally does like 200k, he's going to do 50k, and that's nothing. Well, not nothing, but makes a big difference.
Situationally, can like come into handy, but it's tough to actually rely on that one. Jedi granting a buff to another ally, gaining 10% turn meter. I think that one could be good, but it's once per turn per ally, so maximum of 10%. So it's not like GMY can just go and pass out 50% turn meter to the entire team.
No,
if it was
he'll pass out
then
10%.
That would be very strong.
But hell, even if it was maximum twice per turn, so GMY could pass out buffs and you gain 20%. That's pretty significant. It feels like 10% is. It's kind of nice, but it's hard to see a situation where that is powerful enough to TM roll, which is where the real benefit is, right? And it's kind of a choice of why would you take that over something like the damage reduction or the damage increase from Foresight? Because like I'm just thinking like having a level 9 Qui-Gon Jinn Datacron there with the Foresight, because Qui-Gon Jinn passes out Foresight, everybody starts with Foresight, that's 10% stacking damage. You kill a unit, Foresight, 10% stacking damage. Anakin getting mad. It's like he's going to gain 20% stacking damage immediately as soon as you kill Qui-Gon. That's pretty nasty. Now, the problem, I guess, with that is with this Datacron, on defense, Bad Batch still wins, right? Anakin's stunned. You're still going to lose that matchup unless you've got enough speed that it doesn't matter what speed their Echo is, you're going first. But even then, you're kind of hoping that you could deal enough damage to them, right? So maybe it's an offensive Datacron set. Maybe that's all it is now. Maybe you take Qui-Gon Jinn Omi for offense these days with this particular Datacron.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, because the Qui-Gon Jinn Omi adding 5% additional damage per relic level across the board, with Foresight adding 10% damage, is pretty huge.
Well, that one is actually one of those ones that you gotta read a little bit closer over, because I see people seeing some wrong things in there. So Qui-Gon Jinn himself deals 5% more damage per relic amplifier on all allies present at the start of battle. It's not that he gains that much more offense, so he doesn't pass that offense out. He himself deals more damage. So when when Qui-Gon dies and you're depending on Anakin's AoE to kill anybody, all of those stats that Qui-Gon gains does absolutely nothing for Anakin. So that's literally just for Qui-Gon, which is not, I mean, I guess not terrible if you want to use him somewhere else, but for that specific instance, the Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron, that doesn't help him all that much. Which maybe if you put Qui-Gon on a JML team or something like that, and just have him doing damage.
Huh.
Because if he just does more damage per block, there's
the only problem with it,
you're just calling him to assist with everything.
He's you know what? Strange take here. More so than JML, it's probably better in a JMK team, because especially if you're taking him on offense, you can raise his mastery as well, right? Relic levels targeting.
I don't even know.
I don't actually know. Actually, let me check that.
I'm kind of curious.
The only reason I say is because the majority of the damage that comes out of a JML team is through the inherited teachings ability, which is true damage. And that I don't think that damage gets amplified by this datacron. I'm pretty certain it doesn't. I might be wrong.
I think it would. I don't actually know. I feel like it would, because it's just damage that they're dealing. Because that would be like that would interrupt with the level 6 with the foresight as well. Like, right, if the team was getting foresight, then they would get increased damage with JML's coin. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if that would count at all.
I mean,
I feel like it would
definitely
based on the wording, but I don't know.
Because it would and it might not is where I'm gonna like the true damage.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it'll increase, but the base damage it would definitely increase. But unfortunately, that damage is reduced by 90%, so it doesn't really matter if you're increasing that damage.
Right.
I don't know if it impacts the true damage. I haven't done any testing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I need to give that a go and see what happens. I'm really curious now, because I don't actually know what would happen there.
So
I feel like it should. Because it's just damage that he's dealing.
I would very much like to test it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to test it because that changes things quite drastically. Because if you've got like a strong high relic level JML team, I mean JML Relic 9. If you haven't got him Relic 9, get him Relic 9. He's great. Him alone, he's adding 45% damage. That's already significant. Let's see. His mastery is accuracy, crit avoidance, and damage. So raising his mastery in a JMK team, you're raising his damage, which will then get multiplied. I know it's not massive increases, but over time, it could be. But again, you are right. If the inherited teachings true damage gets increased by JML, that's definitely the better place for him. Just because, specifically on offense, but you're not putting JML on defense unless you're a weirdo,
right? In
my opinion. Like just
or you're going
JML's
full 7
too good
shields on defense because you.
Oh yeah, because 3v3 sucks. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, hang on. MJ in the chat can test it. Yeah, MJ, test it. Test it if you can. I want some empirical testing. Test it with and without Datacron. Record how much damage you're doing with the true damage on each attack, and then we'll have the answer. Only smarties have the answer. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, just call somebody else to assist, and call Qui-Gon to assist, and see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Be very curious to see.
I would if it does change inherited teachings, that is so huge. That is so huge if it does.
That's significant.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think protection is in steadfast resolve, is it? Actually, that wouldn't matter because that doesn't increase the. Oh no, it does increase the damage output of inherited teachings, but I don't think protection is one of the stats there, is it? It isn't. Damn.
Oh, in the current Datacron set, no.
Because
it's all very, very offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if it had protection with like wow and that mastery did stack? Sorry, not the mastery, and the damage did stack. That you could have that Qui-Gon Jinn would ramp so heavy, dude. That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun.
One-shotting GLs. Sounds like fun.
Yeah. So we've also had the return of, it's not the same, but it, or is it the same actually? No, it's not the same. It's not the same Ayla, but there is a level 9 Ayla where she is basically always assisting when another ally uses an ability. And that's it's not special. Literally, you do a basic Ayla assists. You do a special Ayla assists, and she does more damage. And she stuns whenever she crits. That's not bad. I have a Relic 7 Ayla
and she has a chance to call an assist.
And she does have a chance, which is really, really cool. So she's always going to be assisting. I think she's got like a 50% chance to call an assist as well. Is it 50%? It's something like that.
It's like 35.
Oh, okay, it might be less than. Yeah. So
she's an old character, so yeah, it's stupid stuff.
It's cool. Like the crit chance on her though, that like the chance to stun is a really nifty ability. So I may well be running my Ayla if I can get one of those level 9 crons, but then again, there's no protection on these crons. Maybe I just run her with Qui-Gon Jinn, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really the tough thing to say, because I mean, maybe Ayla on the Qui-Gon Jinn team calls an extra assist and does some extra damage and does some things, and maybe if I slot her over there, maybe she hangs out on an offensive GMK team. You know, this has the potential to do some silly things, or has the potential to do absolutely nothing.
So unfortunately,
we'll see what happens.
MJ has done the testing. The Cron doesn't increase the damage from Qui-Gon.
Okay,
that's a shame. That's a shame. There could have been some fun
good
stuff
to
there.
know.
Yeah, it's good to know. Unfortunately, Qui-Gon himself, he doesn't deal massive amounts of damage. He just no. Anakin is the damage dealer. Cam is the damage dealer in that team. You know, Anakin's got the AoE big bop that you're gonna, your ancestors will feel. And Cam will be that guy who double taps you for 100k damage a hit, and you're like, oh my god, what did this guy eat? He was really pissed off about the droid attack on the Wookiees. Really pissed off.
What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? Yeah, Cam is scary. That dude slaps. I heard people shit on Cam before, and it's just like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Cam is just an absolute monster, and you need to invest harder in this guy because he just is insane.
Yeah, now Cam is phenomenal. Good. He is. I think Cam's biggest issue is Cat. I think Cam got completely overshadowed by Cat being not a Jedi, which I agree makes total sense thematically speaking. She shouldn't be a Jedi, right? But the fact. Correct. If Cam actually was
she wasn't a commander either, but
No, exactly. Like CG's cherry picking their lore, and that's okay.
Technically, at that point in season 8, they had to specifically make Rex a commander because Ahsoka had left the Grand Army of the Republic, and she could not lead the assault on Mandalore. So Commander Ahsoka Tano at that point was specifically not a commander. Because Rex was made the commander for... Anyways, I digress. Anyways, moving on.
Former Commander Ahsoka Tano. Exactly. Ex-Commander Ahsoka Tano. It's funny, actually. It makes me feel like for that particular Qui-Gon setup, you're probably better off not going with a Qui-Gon level 9, but getting the Ayla level 9 and throwing her in with Qui-Gon. Yeah. So having something like Qui-Gon lead, obviously you need Cam, obviously you need JKA. Throwing an Ayla in there and then having a 5th, whoever that happens to be, you can, depends on what you're using with JMK, you might be able to throw in Snips, you might be able to throw in Xaereth, you've got options there for a Qui-Gon team. Right. That's probably actually a better use of that particular Cron than having the Qui-Gon level 9, I think. I actually think that's probably the case. Especially because, hey, check this out, dude.
His job is to die.
His job is to die and power up his characters. But check this out. Because the Qui-Gon's benefit, when he dies, he only passes, is it like you deal 100% damage the next turn or something like that? It's a limited amount of turns.
2 turns, yeah.
Yeah, you get a limited amount of turns. So if you've got Ayla always assisting, and she's slow, she's going to have that damage increase on more attacks than she would organically have, and she could call additional assists, like we said. So you could actually increase the amount of benefit you gain out of Qui-Gon Jinn's sacrifice. I'm not saying it's top tier Cron, but it's a nice to have, and it could.
But still,
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm undecided now. It may well be something I keep for offense, or it's something that you hide on the back wall. And hopefully you put out some other bad batch, like having Adrad on the front wall, trying to draw out Bad Batch, and then hiding Qui-Gon in the back. It might work. You never know. Interesting times though. This is the part of Datacrons that I like. It adds a layer of strategy to your game, not only in how you play, but also, do you take something for defense? Do you take something for offense? How do you position your defensive team's front wall and back wall to try and draw out specific counters to make your opponent trip up? I like that about Datacrons, So,
and that's, I think, was the original real intent with things. Because honestly, without Datacrons, GAC would be stale as fuck. It would just be the same counters, the same teams, the same everything. They would need to keep pushing out new characters and new teams at a rate to keep things interesting that none of us would ever be able to keep up with. So Datacrons being a stand-in for that and changing the meta and everything, I appreciate that that's what they were going for. Sometimes the implementation is shit. Sometimes the implementation is just an absolute joke. And sometimes they implement really well. And when it's little stuff like this and it's interesting things, I'm all for it.
Let's be honest. I don't think anybody in the world wants to see the return of the Lord Vader evasion, no cooldown Cron era. right? That's
hey,
prime
you
example
got a force crush,
of
and
cancer.
actually you got a force crush, and hey, how about a force crush? And you look like you could use a force crush, so how about a force crush, and maybe another force crush with your force crush?
It's like, oh, you're facing Lord Vader? Okay, yeah, that's great. Oh, he's hit ultimate? I'm sorry, would you like to be ability blocked for the rest of the battle?
Yeah.
Do you like basics? Because that's all you're doing.
Enjoy your ability blocks.
It's like... And the stupid thing about that era was like you could face a Lord Vader and you could kill all the ads and you'd be left with a lone Lord Vader and there's nothing in your roster that can actually kill it because he's got no cooldowns. He's going to ability block you out the wazoo. You're just going to miss all your attacks or he'll have health steal and just heal all the way back up. It was obnoxious. Absolutely obnoxious. There was just too many small things added up to make that data. Like, I believe I checked it. Lord Vader at that time of that datacron had something like every counter had about a 30% win ratio against him. 30% chance. Nothing has come close to being that difficult to beat. It's just, oh god, it was disgusting. However, not all datacron sets are that cancerous. You know?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good. And
even that datacron set, using it on offense and like using Mara to just sit there and just throw some grenades and then throw some grenades and then throw some grenades and then throw some grenades.
Or just hop and stun and 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 hop and stun. It's just like, okay, great. So you're not taking a turn.
I had actually in 1-3v3, I had used that team in order to kill. It was a somebody put down all of their GLs on defense, so all 7 of them I had to get through, and they put down a slacker Daka zombie, and I was like, I have nothing left to kill this fucking team. So what I ended up doing was I threw EP, Mara, and then Shore Trooper, so I had a pre-taunt. So slacker did his stun, and then I sat there with Mara, did her middle for the tenacity down for the sun and everything, and then just sat there throwing bombs the entire damn time. I wasn't able to kill Daka because I kept on removing turn meter and I kept on powering her up. But Slacker is immune to stagger.
Yeah,
Slacker is immune to stagger though, so I couldn't reduce his turn meter. So it took like 3 or 4 minutes, but eventually I killed Slacker and then timed out the battle because Daka was unkillable at that point.
Yeah. And when you've got 7 GLs, you don't care. Like, who cares about a leaderless Daka team that can't revive anything?
Oh yeah.
It's like, all right.
Exactly, yeah. So we're sitting there like, okay, we made it through. So little stuff like that was opened up because of those silly crons. But they also had those absolutely cancerous interactions on defense with Lord Vader and just sitting there force crushing you and ability blocking you to oblivion. And
I mean, Darth Vader could do it as well, right? Like, he could infinitely staying Merciless Massacre. You go Merciless Massacre, Force Crush, Basic, Merciless Massacre, Force Crush, Basic.
Oh my god!
Like, he was killing GLs easily because once he takes a turn, that's it. Unless I remember actually, I think one of those sets, Tenacity was one of the stacks. So there were people that were started modding their Ray for like 200% tenacity. So you'd go in thinking, oh yeah, my Vader's going to kick ass here. And they'll be like, resist. You're like, and now you can't reduce your cooldowns. You're like, shit. But yeah, it, like, stuff like that, I don't like when it's that powerful and that impactful. That entire GACs are dictated by, can you beat this one cron, this one team? I don't like. When it's something that's a little bit broader, a little bit more general, and doesn't turn a team into just absolute horrendous levels of mind-numbingly dumb shit, then it's okay. Like, I'm not super on board with the 300, 400% defense sets that we've got right now. Timeouts are not cool. But it could be worse. It could be worse. You know?
But we have the armor pen now to deal with all of that crazy defense.
Exactly. Yep.
And I've actually characters like Slacker who infinitely stack, right?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's what's this slacker business you're talking about again?
I don't know. It's a myth.
I'm sorry, guys. Wolfie has left the chat. I don't know what happened. He just disappeared. I've heard. His status has turned into a little bitch. No, okay, I'm joking.
It's an urban legend. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a myth.
Crazy. Yeah. Yep.
So I actually, 100%. In this latest set, organically, no rerolls, rolled a cron up to level 8 that has got, what would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five out of the 6 stat rolls all landed on offense. I was like, whoa. So it's got like 52% additional offense on it. I'm like, that's a significant bump in offense. That's not too shabby.
Offense.
So I'm taking that one to 9. No, it's already at 9. Sorry, it's a Jedi one. It's got the Ezra level 9. I want to re-roll the Ezra to be probably Ayla now at this point because I'm not too enthralled by the Qui-Gon one. And I'll throw this on my Qui-Gon team. So it'll have like 50% offense, and I'm going to re-roll the level 1 stats into armor pen. So I can get maybe up to 80 to 100% armor pen with 50% offense, stacking damage on the foresight, and Ayla assisting every turn. That's gonna be pretty good, I feel. That's gonna. Have you got any any sexy crons from this set?
I have not gone super hard on the crons yet. I've just been trying to finish going through Conquest, so I'm not done yet. I'm at the second last box, so I'm almost at Red Crate. Got a few more things to go, and then this week I'll be going hard in the Cron. So I have a couple level 6s, a couple level lower level ones, but I have not gone super crazy hard
2
on the
days.
Crons yet.
I'm 2 days away from red boxing right now, so I'm 1 key away from gold box. But the thing is I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 feats. 3 feats that give 15 key cards each that I'm going to be done with tomorrow. So I mean, that's it's like I've got a bunch of them. And I'll do that, and I'll just be like, right. and then the day after I'll red box because I'm that close on a bunch of the big feat payouts, and after that it's full send on datacrons.
Right.
I don't know about you. I do 6 refreshes on Conquest at the moment to try and push through. I think it's the only way I can try and stay in Kyber 1. Is by having datacrons, because I'm only a little boy. I don't have Slacker, Wolf. I don't know if you know this, but I don't have Slacker.
Whoa!
Being a GL down in Kyber 1 is hard.
I was invited onto a podcast with a Swiggo streamer who does not have Slacker. I feel cheated. I feel like am I dealing with a fraud over here? Oh my god. Can you even call yourself a Swiggo streamer? Dear God,
hold on.
I thought I knew you.
Let's pedal this back. You're a co-host. You're not invited. You're a co-host on the Tribe Talks.
Well, thank you, good sir.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, yes. Yechid, Prost, Skol, all that. I hope you're drinking at home.
Yamas.
Unless you are driving to work and listening to this podcast, then please don't drink at this time. Drink water, not alcoholic beverages. I am the slacker,
and then
Bane.
Once you get to work, then what?
Yeah. That's what hip flasks were made for. Unless you operate heavy machinery.
What you do? I currently in my current job, I operate heavy machinery, so we are not doing any sort of any of that stuff. But my first job out of college, my boss may or may not have had a bottle of whiskey in his desk drawer for particularly trying conversations with vendors. So there would be very frequently where we'd be sitting there on a conference call and then you'd just be like, all right, fuck it, and pick up the glasses and pick up the bottle of whiskey and be like, all right, I guess this is happening.
I mean, for a number of years, I worked as a cocktail mixologist in a nightclub. So I would make cocktails, and that job more or less requires you to be drunk the whole time.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just one. The transition to an.
Come on.
I hate those guys. Like having to do that sober. It's not easy. The transition from doing that into an office job was interesting. Coming into work and people are like, "Why do you smell like booze?" I was like, "Why don't you smell like booze?" Just one of those things.
Is that a rhetorical question or?
So
like, you know how to
go down the pub?
Come on.
Come on. So yeah, fun times. I'm definitely going to build out an Alacron. Like I was originally going Qui-Gon, but then, reading into it and thinking more about it, I definitely think Alacron is the better fit for a Qui-Gon team. Because I think that's what the advantages are.
Now that we know how that's working, and if like you were saying, if you have a slow Ayla with lots of offense and she's getting called to assist all the time on that team, and she's extend that whole damage threshold when you're there, then absolutely.
So you'll want a balance of offense, crit chance, and potency on Ayla. So because when she crits, she'll stun, but it's not an irresistible stun, so you want a bit of potency. So balancing that, like I'm in the position. The reason in particular I'm doing it is because I'm in the position of I have a Relic 7 Ayla, which I know a lot of people won't, but it's because way back when the first Alacron came out, I was like, that looks like so much fun.
Right there with you, buddy.
It was so much fun.
Like, it was a great Datacron.
It was just okay, so I go, Ayla takes a turn, and now you don't get to take a turn for the rest of the battle. I'm just going to do this. Turn 2 of JML, he would ult. Turn 2. It was just like,
able to kill Lord Vader before he took a turn. Because you could just because that was also the same time they had the 25% turn meter for light side. So JML would just go, and then he would start things off, and then you would play it out very carefully with using the specials and using the call to assists and using the coin, using the everything, and you could actually time it out so you could kill Lord Vader before they actually even got a turn. And you're sitting there like, bye bye.
Yeah,
and it was.
And I'm pretty certain you can kill Lord Vader before you've killed his support, right? So it would just be like a bunch of support with no GL, and you're like, well, you guys suck.
It was glorious. That was one of those things where it played like shit on defense, so you needed to use it on offense in order to get the fullest benefit out of it. So like crons like that, I'm all for, because that's something where like the AI is dumb and they don't know what they're doing, and then like the person on offense can actually make use of it. I think that works out a lot better for the balance of things and keep things more interesting, and really encourages you to use those crons on offense and build them to enjoy them and have fun with them, rather than build them to have 400% defense and slap it on your Jabba and say, haha, fuck you, have a good time.
It's okay.
I enjoy that a lot.
You build up 2 of those, you've got your Jabba, you've got your Lord Vader. If you've got Reva, you throw Reva with Maul and Grand Inquisitor. Maybe you throw 7th, maybe you throw Royal Guard in that team. You have those 2 teams and you're like, good luck. If you can chew through them, maybe you can get a win, but the rest of it doesn't matter. And that's, I went 3-0 last week. I'm not proud of it.
Nice.
But, it's because of stuff like that.
Because you're not proud of it. Yeah.
I'm not proud of it. But if something works, you use it, right? It's like, I'm going to be taking a 400% defense data. I don't have a 4, I've got like 250, right? But taking that sort of thing on offense is not going to give you good banner wins. It doesn't. It just means you definitely win, right? Putting it on defense means your opponent has to hit their head against the wall trying to counter it. So yeah. And what they really needed to know, Wolfie, the real secret sauce was people needed to start taking in their EP Starkiller against Jabba. That's what they needed to do. They didn't realize. They needed that spicy take, baby. They needed it.
So
we did it.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad I started doing that. Oh my god, I picked that up from Scribe, and it just went so well.
It's a nice.
I think I had one time it failed. Otherwise, it was great.
Well,
and I think that was actually my mistake.
Oh, I was going to say, there's always that 15% chance that no matter what your potency is, that Santi resists the shock on the first turn, and that can, immediately stop the counter. It can, not always, but it can, right? And there's nothing you can do to outmod or out-strategize that stuff happening. But other than that, it's quite reliable.
What I did wrong is I brought too much crit damage, actually. So I landed the shots. I landed all that stuff. But so this is like one of those weird like mechanics things with how this works. I needed the beer for this actually. Hold on a second.
I mean, you know it's serious business when Wolfie's like, hold on, I need before we get into this, I need to crack open a brewski.
Because thermals are fucking weird. Thermals do percentage health damage.
Yeah.
Based on like the percentage health of like the person that they're on. So I'm sitting there and I have thermals on me and they're doing damage based off of my percentage health. But thermals can crit.
Can they?
Yes.
I had no idea.
And when thermal detonators crit, they don't calculate the crit damage based off of the person who put down the thermal. They do crit damage based off of the person that they're blowing up.
So the fact that you had a load of crit damage increased the damage of the thermal detonators when they crit?
Yes. So my Star Killer blew the fuck up.
Oh, that's brutal. That is brutal.
I still managed to get it down to just Jabba and Chrysanthemum somehow, so I was able to clean it up.
Oh my days.
But it was like 1 second he was there, and then the next second he was just gone, and it was no bueno. It's one of those weird like mechanics things, but their thermals are kind of
interesting. That's a double bubble because one, I didn't realize thermals could crit. I always assumed because it was a percentage based effect that it would almost like true damage, right? It's just always going to be a non-crit. And I didn't realize that it also scaled off your own crit damage when that happens.
It's
nutty.
The weirdest thing. But I guess it's easier to like track the thermals are on the person rather than who the thermal was applied by. I mean, I'm thinking like game mechanics. Imagine like coding it to track who applied each thermal and their crit damage, as opposed to the person the thermal is on and their crit damage. Like that sounds a lot simpler.
We've all seen it in Conquest. You know, when you've got stuff like thermal exhaust and caustic emissions and volatile accelerator, if you stack those up enough, the game slows the fuck down because it's like, hang on, there's too much shit going on here. If it also had to track who put that datacron on, who put that thermal detonator on, what is their crit damage, how does that apply the damage here? Yeah. For each instance of that's just adding another layer of calculation for the engine to take on, and it would probably crash things very successfully. So, sometimes you need something simple, something easy. I can see Carthrick is in the chat. Carthrick,
the
absconder.
Motherfucker.
This fucker over here. Yeah, we talk about this.
You think you know a guy?
You think you know, but apparently work trips are more important than tribe talks.
Karth, we had whale questions earlier, and we needed you, and there was no whale to answer said questions. We had to outsource to chat. Karth, you've been replaced by chat.
Exactly. Wolfie and I have descended into a drunken stupor in your absence, Karth. This is what you've done to us. I've got to get up for like 6 in the morning to go to the gym, and I'm cracking through beers right now at 10 to 10. That's not a good idea.
I probably have a stream in a couple hours, so yeah, it'll be fun.
It'll be great, Wolf. It'll be top tier stream.
Oh yeah,
you could always show up now.
Good times.
Carthrick, you can't show up late and take all the credit, but you're more than welcome, obviously.
Oh yeah, but then we've been bullshitting.
Yeah, we're still here. We're still here. Happy up, Karth. Happy up. Come on, buddy. Come join the stream. I'll give you a little bit of a tickle. So totally lost train of thought there. Tickle? A slap and tickle? Yeah.
These things happen.
They do. They
also,
do.
a wild card is into the chat.
Oh, hold up. I need to change my screen. Because if we've got multiple people with multiple things and Carthrick is here, then I need to go to this screen. What the fuck is going on right now? Carthrick, you're not on camera.
We got double Wolfie.
Yeah, hold on a second.
People want to see your beautiful face.
I'm adding appropriate lighting.
I hope it's like stripper lighting. That's kind of what my background is right now, actually.
We need mood lighting.
Do I have stripper lighting? Hang on. I feel like I'm not centered enough in this. Let's do that. Now I'm centered. Hey, Karth, how you doing, buddy? How was your traveling? You all right?
Oh, fine. It was uneventful. It was just boring because a lot of it's a 1-lane road, and people like to speed in the passing lanes and go slow in the normal travel. So
yeah, those are the people you flip off. So it's okay. Don't worry about it. So, Karth, you've missed most of Tribe Talks, but we have discussed the following topics on our imaginary agenda. We have talked about the new Datacron set. We've talked about the changes to the raid system, the good and the bad, because there are good and there are bad. Wondering what your takes are on changes to the raid system. And we've also talked about some other bullshit, I think. Yes. There was something funny we discussed as well. It was really
That's what
really
always
hilarious.
happens in this game, though. Lots of bullshit.
There's Leia requirements. There was a bunch of stuff.
I'm like low-key curious to see what the Lobot rework is, because I love that this is coming out of left field of like, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna make Lobot work, and I'm like, I mean, about time, especially since you're gonna require them. But I'm like, no.
Lobot should and should forever be a meme. Nobody gives a fuck about Lobot outside of Earth, guys. Nobody cares about Lobot.
There's still trash character. There's trash characters still in the game that they haven't required for anything yet that they'll come up with.
For there to be good characters, there has to be a Lobot. All right.
Yes.
That's the only way we get good characters.
Listen, I think Lobot was still better in game, like nichely speaking, than Jedi Consular. So I think Jedi Consular is still the bottom of the barrel. The only advantage Jedi Consular has is the fact that its ship is amazing.
He's got a ship
when it's high relic.
So good.
That special does so much damage.
Greatest ship ever.
It's like we're talking about. Okay, so I've got a dirty nickel, or I've got a dirty what other low denominator currency in America's economy. I don't know.
Penny.
Dime? Pennies? You have pennies?
Sure.
Okay.
We have pennies.
Like we're talking lowball here. Does anybody even care? Like, I mean, consular is a different pickle, right? I didn't even realize that America had pennies. I thought that was a UK thing.
No, we got pennies, dimes, nickels, quarters, $50. Then we have $1 coins, and then we go to bills after that.
Then it goes to bills.
You've also got
$1,
you've got
$2,
$1 notes
$5,
as well,
$10.
haven't you?
Huh?
Yeah.
You got $1 notes as well. They're
$1 notes.
We call them bills, but yes.
Bills.
Yes.
Like Bill Clinton's. You got $1 Bill Clinton's? Yeah. In the UK, there isn't, not anymore. I think there used to be a long time ago, but there isn't a £1 note. There used to be a very long time ago. But yeah, that's only coins.
We have $2.
Yeah, but those are like only on special like demand. Like you can get them from a bank, but they're not massively used in circulation. They're more like things that you use for special occasions as gifts or something like that. Like I still have a $2 note in my wallet from my high school graduation for my.
Oh my God. From high school, why'd you have that bill in your? Oh, is it signed?
Yeah.
Class of 2009.
Yeah. And then it has the unique portrait on the back of it.
Oh, cool. You should frame that shit. Keep it up on your wall.
I should. I'm surprised it survived so well in my wallet this long. Though only that main crease is kind of starting to give out, but it has sentimental value, which is why I don't do anything with it.
Well, exactly. I got stuff like that. But anyway, Karth, you're low-key curious about Lobot rework. Do you think he's going to be in the GL Leia team?
Oh, yeah. They said he was.
Okay. Did they?
Did they?
Didn't they say that in the announcement that they're requiring Lobot for and doing the rework as a?
Well, no, they said requirement Lobot, and he's getting a rework.
I guess I inferred because rework to me.
Oh yeah, we're inferring.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Rework in my head is a complete overhaul like Mace got, versus a touch-up, which is like what Death Trooper got when Moff Gideon came out. And so in my head, they're going to rework Lobot as a other character to again push the point that they don't want to break a CLS up squad for Leia to be functional.
Well, we were talking about this earlier.
That's a fair enough point.
We're wondering. I say we're wondering if like that rework may not be more akin to Mob Enforcer and less akin to Royal Guard, because Royal Guard became good and was on the Lord Vader team, and Mob Enforcer is just kind of a meme still.
Well, yeah, the thing is too though is that that was always going to be how it played out though because of what was available in Hut Cartel. Like she still does well there, but she's just not
here. So just for semantics' sake here, because you raised something then, Karth, that we hadn't considered actually, is that did they say with Gamma Guard and Mob Enforcer that they were getting a rework or an update? Because those are two very different things.
I would have to go back to look. Well, because I mean, they did a complete rework on both of. Well, I would say Gamorrean Guard would be the strongest form of touch-up I could give him.
They're more of a touch-up,
because Gamorrean Guard they added the unique, but everything else was just changing the lingo to Hut Cartel in his kit versus being like the unique added all the real potency to it. Mob Enforcer was a complete rework. I mean, they brand new
Grievous
art,
got
brand
a
new
full
abilities.
Rework.
Who?
Grievous had a full rework. Like his names changed.
Yeah,
and
so did
everything
so did Darth Vader.
Yeah.
They try to distinguish from kit touch-ups, like when Snips got some 501st touch-up to her kit to when Gas came out, or
Touching
when
up Snips.
the Imperial Remnant stuff came out, and they touched up some of the characters, like the Stormtrooper and Death Trooper got touched up to have some synergy with those factions. They try to separate what those are to give players an idea of how much is being changed with that. But I mean, like the thing with Mob Enforcer, no matter how hard you reworked her, unless they wanted her to be the 5th, there was going to be no way to ever make her the best 5th possible and give it to us for free. So it's like she does make a decent 5th if you have no investment in any of the other Hut Cartel. But, you know, it's like you're kind of most of the way there if you have all your GLs in play. But I mean, like if you didn't have Embo,
Boba Fett would be still better. Like, and he's an exec requirement, right?
But if you didn't have Executor, like I'm just saying, like Mob Enforcer is required for Jabba's requirements. It gives you the team of 5. She makes a decent placeholder while you're building up a better 5th. But the 5th is always situational. That's been the argument since the day he's come out. The best 5th for Jabba is always situational on the Datacron in play. So like
sometimes Gamorrean Guard, want Embo,
Gamorrean Guard's making a resurgence because if you get him like 7, 8, 9 relics, he makes the team really hard to kill. Because they're just so freaking thick. They're not impossible, but it's just harder versus having like Lando there. So the current set is favoring back to more defense, but when there was when the Jabba had his original Cron, there was a case for Mob Enforcer and CAD to be there. If you modded them for like a lot of speed or a lot of tenacity, so that way when they use their basics, they're healing the team the entire time.
Sure.
So there was certain things you could exploit, but the main teams that countered them would still counter them. It just started cutting off the lower options, and so anyways, that was kind of it was. But
going full circle, then you're thinking Lobot is definitely featuring in GLA. I mean,
Lobot Drogon will be part of probably the main 3, and that's who we will use for 3v3. I'm assuming Drogon's probably going to end up being the tank, because I Rebels really don't, unless they want to go all offense, which is kind of what it sounds like they're saying from what we know about her kit.
They said she's defensively not great, but offensively, this is what they're inferring anyway. Offensively, she's a powerhouse. Defensively, maybe she's not going to hold that great. So maybe they don't need a tank. Maybe it's like a CLS team doesn't need a tank.
Well, you're going to have some way to protect your allies getting to your alt or whatever the heck they want to use for her. You're going to have some way to either stealth or force a mark on somebody to take fire. It's like you mark an ally, but they also gain damage immunity. Well, yeah, I mean, again,
I'm hoping.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, R2 actually makes a lot of sense to be on that squad too.
He does,
because he needs a home desperately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to see what the rest of it plays out to be. But
are we thinking Drogon's coming out this coming week?
Next week, yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
he needs to.
It doesn't make sense for them to release the requirements in totality and not have him show up quickly.
I agree. Yeah,
because if they want to launch Leia by the end of or by
we were saying, what do you think? End of October or like
September?
End of September.
End of September.
End of September.
Yeah, we will.
That's what we're sort of like leaning towards. End of September.
If they do it the same way they did last time, Drogon should be just hitting shipments by the time GL Leia comes out, because GLs to them they treat differently because the event's always available. So if you weren't gonna wail on unlocking the character through marquee packs, then it doesn't matter when the character releases. You would never have been ready until you could farm the character. So they don't.
I'll be honest. I don't even mind that. I don't even mind.
No,
because planning your farms around legendary release cadence, like Grand Inquisitor or Jedi Knight Cal right now. Yeah. Like having to if you know you're not going to make the first one, planning to finish your hard farm nodes by a certain unknown time, we can make some assumptions, because usually it's either a 3 or a 6 month cadence, usually with CG, right? I'd rather them have everything go immediately into the journey guide and release them earlier, even if it means that they're only available to whales. I prefer that setup than having a cadence. That's just me there. And I'm not a whale. I don't whale on new marquees or shit like that.
For me, as long as it's the same pattern, I don't really care. But they've set up a pattern with legendary releases that go to the journey guide and return every basically 120 days, every somewhere between the 3 to 4 month mark the event returns. I'm fine with that as long as they keep the same mantra the same, which is,
but they don't.
Everything is farmable. Well, they have with every legendary release. Everything has stayed the same.
Say that to GI. Say that to Malik.
Well,
they have almost always, and then there's the one or two.
In the regards to recurrence, I agree. I don't know why that was made up an issue, but what I'm talking about is the requirements. Everything is always farmable prior to launch, which is what I like. I like that that's the cadence they set, because it takes some pressure off of the spending, because you don't have to wail on everything through marquee packs to be ready day one. You can shipment farm the last couple of characters and then farm the first couple, because they're going to be out long enough. It gives you a reliable thing to plan on, versus like the way the GLs are headed now. It's like, if you want to be at the top of the spear and you want to be going, you have to invest day one as quickly as possible. Like, I was looking at this going like, okay, I thought I had like 2 months for Leia, I might have 5 weeks. Like, and so it just changes how you interact with that, because it's like, Princess Kinesia can probably farm by the time she goes live.
She's probably going farmable in a week or two now, right?
Yeah. Shouldn't be too much longer.
Well, no, she just hit shipments last week. But she just hit shipments last week. So she's got at least 2 more weeks before she finds her way into farmable, unless they expedite that a little bit. 3 weeks is typically the smallest window, and 5 weeks being the longest window for that. So I could probably farm most of her, but I won't farm her in time. I'll have to shipment farm some of it just to get caught up. But with Scout will probably hit like 2 weeks before Leia goes live into shipments, and then like. Yeah, and then
I know you're because I think Karth you're already hoarding energy, aren't you, Karth?
Yeah, I'm up to like 5k now. I need like 10k to unlock her day one, and then it'll take me about a week of refreshes to get through her alt.
Crazy bastard. You and your preloaders.
Son of a bitch.
Well, I'll be honest to you, the reason why I did it was because they had the 1,000 energy in that Galactic Legend upgrade kit, or the Galactic upgrade kit, or whatever it was. They had 1,000 energy in that, and I was like, oh, that's just too easy to pass up on. And so it's like, I just got that going. So that's ready, and then between now and then, and the weekly packs that give the 200 energy, and then everything else, I net roughly about 1,000 energy a week. In that, okay. So I should, by the time she shows up, I should have enough energy to unlock
you'll have 10k
her.
At least, won't you?
Yeah, day one, and then from there we'll see what happens.
Okay. So who do you think is going to be the remaining characters? I think everybody is agreed that Drogon is going to be basically hard required for Leia. He's been built for Leia.
Yeah.
They've already penned her as that. We're thinking Lobot. God damn, fucking Lobot, dude. Two more.
He's a requirement. It's kind of like it's not the worst thing in the world if they're going to require him and utilize him.
He's a requirement. It's an R3 requirement though. It's
which means
you're going to take him 4 more levels at least.
I stopped at R5 when I was upgrading him yesterday. Okay. Or when the announcement came out, whenever that was. That was Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
I stopped.
Yeah, 2 days.
But I stopped at R5 for now because I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if he's going to be for sure the guaranteed character for that slot.
R5 is still a good slot, regardless. Because you've got full use set of datacrons at R5.
Yeah.
So post rework, maybe even if he doesn't go with GLA, maybe he fits in somewhere else, maybe with a droid team or something. I don't know. We just don't know what's going to happen with him. So, yeah, I get it. But who do you think? Who do you think for others? Because it sounds like based on the release that it's definitely Rebel based. Because I know post chatting with Gerbil that Gerbil was thinking that maybe she'll have some Ewok synergy. But it looks like she's definitely Rebels, not Ewoks.
Oh, we already knew that she would be Rebels anyways because of her basic that they leaked in the initial announcement, because it only said Rebel allies, and they pretty much leaked the majority of her basic on it.
They also hid some of the basic too, right? So they could have done something in there. But
it could have, sure, if you wanted to hope on it, but it's quite clear that it was a Rebel GL. They're just using this as an opportunity to pump out more lifter units because they need to. I mean, that's where CG's at. They've been in this mode for like a year now of building a 5th character that lifts a faction into being meta viable, and then maybe like meta dominant with the Datacron set. So that's been the track that they've been on for a little while. It makes a lot of sense for them to be doing that. But that's literally why 3 out of the 4 marquees for Leia are not even for her. She's not going to use Rex. She's not going to use Kinesa. She's not going to use Scout. So Drogon's the only option.
It definitely feels like this GL release is very, very deliberately tied into the Endor raid, because it's giving us units that are specifically required and designed. It sounds like. I mean, let's not say designed because the abilities get swapped out for the raid. But they're giving us characters with the factions that get used in the new raid, right? So you've got an Ewok, you've got an Empire, you've got a Rebel. So it's like, it feels like it's more about prepping people for the raid than it is about building up her team. So building up her team is obviously almost certainly going to be separate. So Drogon definitely. I'm hoping R2. I'm really hoping R2 goes in a team.
R2 makes a lot of sense.
Relegate would be nice.
Yep.
For just the tactical side of things.
A little touch up on R2.
Oh, please, that would be nice.
All he really needs for touch up to be like a much bigger staple on her team is just having his unique, have him gain more to be a Duro, like have R2 be like a subtle like super tank with just like he gains 25% max health and defense and offense and protection for every tag
more,
that's present.
More.
And then pass 100%. Out 50% of his new stats or whatever else ends up being, and then just let it be bonkers, and then that helps bolster the team. But I mean,
just make the numbers relevant in today's game.
Yeah, and that would be fine with that. It's hard to say what the other Rebel is going to be though, because without knowing her kit, it's hard for me to tell you what's going to synergize the best with those particular things. And we don't know.
I think they almost want that to be that way. Like they said, this is an offense-based GL. that means that the 5th or the 4th or whatever that you're taking in is not going to be a set lineup. It means that the 5th or 4th or whatever you're taking in is going to change based on your target. So sometimes you're going to want to have an extra damage dealer. Sometimes you may want to have somebody an extra debuffer. Maybe you want to have somebody who has like this extra utility over there. Maybe someone with a call to assist. Maybe something who can dispel. They're that 5th spot will be, plug and play based on who you need to kill if this is an offensive-based GL. So I don't think it's going to be this is the one best character in every situation for this person to use. It's going to be, what the hell are you taking down? Okay, now let's talk.
Yeah, 100%. Because the only thing they expressed in the post on Friday was that they didn't want to tear apart a CLS squad. That basically means that CLS, Han, Chewie, 3PO, and
Chupio.
Jesus Christ. Are 5 characters safe to say that they're probably not going to want to just to utilize in the team? Mm-hmm. But they said nothing about taking apart an Adrad team, a Momo team, a Sana team. All these heavy rebel factions that are just kind of all into the winds.
I'm kind of low-key hoping we get like Akbar in that team. That'd be cool. I'll be down with having Akbar in that team.
Except for then I would feel like if that was a viable strategy. I mean, granted, his Omicron is kind of the only reason that even big accounts have the Omicron is for the 1 extra speed in fleet. Mm-hmm. But that's about it. I kind of hope.
Who cares about his ship anymore? Okay, seriously, Home 1 extra 1 speed in fleet on Akbar.
Whoa! It does help in some situations.
I'm sure it does.
Did you know that Home 1 can beat Leviathan? Unfortunately, it needs Millennium Falcon, but it can beat Leviathan.
There you go. Yeah, see?
But I don't think the Omicron comes into play there.
Well, honestly though, you could beat the Leviathan without MILF. Like you can. It's not the mechanics you need.
Can you?
Yeah, because you're just
the Outrider
is
the most important.
Outrider, and the basic on the profundity is what's your bread and butter there. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like throw in
Home 1.
I would be pretty butt clenchy if I just went in with Y-wing and out.
No, I know. I'm just saying that you could still beat Leviathan with the profundity without MILF, so that MILF could go with Home 1 and do something else. That's more or less.
Like beat a second Leviathan.
Yeah,
exactly.
In TW.
Exactly. What if they have 2 Leviathans and you need to counter both of them?
No, you use profundity to beat Leviathan without the MILF, and you use the MILF with Biston and Biggs to be a triple attacker executor. And then you're done.
And then we'll beat the Leviathan
again
with profundity without MILF.
Yeah.
And then you're done. You got those 2 teams, and then you got your profundity.
I need how many more Leviathans are we beating off? I mean, what?
we need to beat off all of the Leviathans. This, Wolfie. Leviathan is like this giant snake. You got to beat them all off.
Perfect.
Right? You get all of them.
Flawless.
All of them. Yeah.
Flawless execution.
But until I see the rest of her kit, it's very hard for me to say what the other one. I'm hoping R2 is there. Lobot rework kind of seems like it's going to be important because they're going to go through the effort of a rework. It's probably going to tie it to him to incentivize higher relic levels.
I'm really, 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 really looking forward to the time where we're having serious discussions about Lobot's mods and what we're taking to, and it's just Anyway.
We're going to be doing roster reviews, so we'll be like, this guy's got a Lobot at relic 5. Why is your Lobot not a relic 9? You scrub.
Like, do you even try? Like, do you even care about this game? Fuck.
Depending how she bursts or pumps mastery up, it's going to be one of those things where you're going to want R8 minimum if he's a part of the team, like consistent part of the team.
I don't want to relegate my Lobot. Like I finished taking Fulcrum to Relic 7 just today. And I was like, I could take it to Relic 8, but then I thought, no, I need to Relic 7 a bunch of characters for GL Leia, so I'll leave her at Relic 7. If I'm Relic 8ing Lobot before Fulcrum, I'm going to cry. I will
that's
cry.
Just kind of where the things are at right now. You kind of have to play this game of like, what's worth the investment, what's worth the time, and then you backtrack from there as to like, okay, well, let's get the squad to this level and then we'll get them up higher. Because like that's my whole thing right now is with GLA, the guarantee is probably her and unless Drogon's a tank, then Drogon will be R9, and depending on what her kit does, she might need to be an R9 as well. It just depends. She may be like
matters, yeah.
Well, the mastery matters, or what? I'm assuming she'll be an attacker.
Gains, yeah.
But if the extra stack
I'm assuming attacker as well.
I'm actually thinking she's going to be a support. I don't think she's going to be an attacker.
Think so?
They have so many on that team, though. It's like if they go. Well,
there's just this, like, based on the dev announcement, they were saying stuff like she can power, like she targets allies. Her allies will do stuff based on what the typing is. She can enhance her own allies to do so much damage that it's basically a one-tap. So I think she's going to be a support. I don't think she's going to be the attacker. Fair. That's just me.
Could be.
I was basing my attacker because they were saying in the initial thing that like you want to deal with Leia first, because if you like hold off too long, like it's gonna charge up to some like super powered crazy whatever attack. So I was basing it off of that. But yeah, if they're calling her out as she'll enable allies to do these things, she may end up being a support. That's a good call. Yeah.
I'm placing my chips down and calling support right now. I think she'll be a support. I think the team is going to be offensive, but I think she enables them to be offensive based on what they.
I was initially leaning towards attacker, but yeah, I think I may be feeling support. I don't know.
Plus, I think most GLs are also attackers, right? Most GLs are
everyone except for JML.
JML is a tank. Jabba's a support. Everyone else is an attacker.
Jabba's a support. Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out in a couple of weeks, right?
Otherwise Slacker, C, Ray, all those guys are attackers.
Sorry, who was that first one you said?
Sorry, it doesn't exist. My bad.
No, it doesn't exist.
It's a glitch. It's a bug.
There's this imaginary GL. Yeah. So, Garth, moving on from GL Leia, the other two topics that we want to get your input on because you are Carthrick. Whalerick himself is Crate Dragon rewards as well as new Endor speeder bike pursuit or whatever they're calling it. What's your thought on A, cadence, and B, reward changes and how that impacts the community as a whole?
I mean, so speaking specifically to the cadence, I think moving the raid to being only launched 1 day a week and then having a 3-day window to do it is a massive positive switch. I guess it doesn't change anything. I guess you just get your rewards sooner, sort of, from the raid launching to being a 3-day run versus having more time. But I guess I don't really care. I kind of feel like it might have been more decent as a 6 and 6. So you get 6 days to do it and 6 days to launch it. So that way you kind of have a lot of more time to finesse and.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Well, like more time with the raid is active instead of it being active for 3 days, active for a whole 6.
So it's 6 days to launch to get enough tickets to launch the raid is what they're moving the cadence to, but you only have 3 days to attack it. So
where did they say that? Oh, they said maintain the same duration of the raid. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not exactly that's not what we were asking for.
Yeah, so you still have 3.
Wow, I missed that fucking line. That sucks, guys. So can you please read harder? Like me too. Can we all read harder? You read us harder, and I read you harder. So I refuse. I'm not reading us hard enough.
Other people can read harder for me. That's how this whole shtick works. I think.
Shit.
So I mean, I'm not like fussed about it. I just kind of think that
run thing.
You just kind of miss out on the it just kind of sort of alleviates the problem. You do have 6 days in which you're not always doing a raid, but I think having more time to get in there and get it done would be fine as well, having 6 days to do the raid. So it's not a big issue for me. You still have 3 days to do it, which I feel like is more than enough time.
Oh yeah,
on what it ends
definitely.
Up being.
It is.
I think
it'd be nice to also have 6 days to complete it. Like if you give us 6 days,
you only just get your rewards 3 days in instead of 6 days in, but you still only get the rewards 1 day a week anyway. So it's like, who cares if it's on a Sunday or a Wednesday? Like you're still going to get it once a week.
I mean, and generally speaking, like, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm hitting the Crate Dragon raid, I tend to do it all at once. I don't like, oh, I'll just do my one team now and I'll come back and finish later. I usually, I'm like, okay, I've got half an hour. I'm going to do all my teams now and I'll just do it and then forget it, right? So I'm not sure how much I would prefer it to be 6 days long, but I'm not sure how much it really changes my frustration. It being just 3 days.
Really do anything different. Like I said, it's just interesting that they chose to go that angle for me.
For sure.
I get why people may not want to wait 6 days for rewards, but it still doesn't change the fact that you only get rewards 1 day a week. So who cares? Like, and especially unless your guild, and it's gonna be impossible to always land on a day before like a GAC lock-in. Like you're gonna be like, all right, well, it can only launch 1 day a week, so basically you'll have to push out your launch date to like a Friday, so everyone has the weekend to do it. Your rewards by Monday, so it's before GAC, but then you still can't launch the raid again until the following Thursday, and so it's this really weird cadence that you're gonna have to set up if you want to max the rewards in a way that's beneficial for everybody. Which officers will have to figure out and do when it shows up. But it's just gonna be the same thing. It's like, do you do it during your raid during the week when people might have more time because they have a more structured schedule, or do you during the weekend where people might have more time because they don't have to go to work or whatever else? And so for me, I'm just like, I don't know which way that plays best. I kind of feel like if I got 6 days to kill, I should have 6 days to play.
To me, it doesn't really matter to me. No. I'm sure I'll fit it in one way or another. And honestly, even when it comes to the raid rewards, I don't care that it's 6 days. It's when I get my rewards, I've usually spent it within a day anyway. I've got it and I just go boom.
I'll buy all the stuff. If we had the 265 crate, it would take us an extra day, an extra refresh to get through those rewards.
Oh god damn! It's I don't really care. It doesn't fundamentally change how I'm going to spend that currency. It's just
I'm going to buy arrow magnifiers and impulse detectors, or whatever high relic gear I need.
You might need arrows. I'm not as big of a whaley boy as you. I don't have 79,852 relic 8s. Okay,
1-800-pound sand.
I only have some relic 8s and some.
Well,
relic 9s.
I've almost have enough arrows for 3, but I'm assuming that if we do get a tank for the Leia squad, that'll go to R9, and Leia will be a minimum of R8 out the rip.
Yeah.
So it's okay, that covers those two. But
are you sure you're a whale? We should just only be talking in Relic 9 terms right now.
Well, but if Relic 9 was worth a shit, then we could have a conversation. But Relic 9 is if you're not a tank, or even the only attackers I can see having any Relic 9 impact are special damage dealers, or if they have unique mechanics that benefit from the protection gain, like Gas and Luke.
Sure.
Who they gain max protection,
you mean
or they have
Jedi Knight Luke,
Yeah, Jedi Knight Luke, and then Gas, kind of our physical damage dealers that have a benefit from the extra protection gains because of how their kits inherently function. But physical damage dealers only gain about 300 physical offense going from R8 to R9, so they only gain about a net of 500.
Which is funny because that's actually less than what they get from R7 to R8, right?
Yeah. Usually R8 they get about 600 flat from the thing, and then depending how much offense you have into them, they usually net about 1,000 total when the relic change happens, and then which is a different ballpark to deal with. But special attackers gain about the same as they do from R7 to R8. It's a little bit less. But they still gain a good chunk. So Fennec is a good case in point. Ben's a good case in point because they actually gain a decent amount of damage from the relic levels. But outside of that, most attackers see, besides the bulkiness, they don't see any real benefits out of it. And then if you work down to supports and whatever else, there's only a couple of those supports that benefit from those relic levels, and those are basically ones that are evasion masteries or critical avoidance masteries. Outside of that, then there's just
Oh, the evasion masteries.
It is really frustrating when
JTR and everything.
Yeah, JTR just sort of sit, or Shakti or something like that, and they just like,
God,
stop
Shakti.
evading, stop it.
Yeah. So like that's the only point to do those ones, and then there are a few healers like Barris and Old Daka who just gain bananas health at every relic level. You know, they're gaining 12 to like 15k every relic level. When you start going like R7, R8, R8 to R9, that kind of stuff. So there are a few cases to where it's viable, but the majority of characters in this game do not benefit from it. And so it's just like, why would I invest a full roster of R9s except for to play phase 5 and 6 of TB? Like, and even then, you only need like 100 of them.
And even then, many guilds are not even at that point where they're engaging that late on a wide scale in TB.
I believe you mean almost every single guild. Like there's there any guilds that are actually doing like 5 and 6?
Yeah,
there's
guilds that are
doing like maybe I would say like maybe 3-4 guilds that are actually doing...
they're getting 44 stars, so they have to be doing a good portion of phase 5. 5 and 6 to get there. Because
but these are the guilds that have got like what 600 mil GP or something like that, is it?
Yeah, they're 630 million. They got 100 million in GP on us.
That's huge. A lot of that's absolutely balls to the wall, crazy levels of GL.
That would be like
GP.
In that guild. I would be one of the smaller accounts.
Hey, Karth, you'd know what it feels like to be me.
Yeah, yeah.
You'd be like, I feel. Shut up, Karth. I feel so inadequate right now. God damn. Fuck you, Karth.
Karth, you missed like 3 or 4 Slacker comments, so I'm glad you're catching up.
It's not a scribble stream if somebody doesn't say something about Slacker, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
but I think for the most part, you know, R8 is really where you should talk about putting things. R9 is a luxury for tanks, for capital ship pilots, and GLs. And that's the emphasis on luxury. You know, they don't really need it. If she's going to be an offensive GL, her kit's going to just stomp donkey dick. So who's going to care about... It's like JMK all over again. JMK does not need to be R9 to destroy whatever team he faces.
I mean, JMK now is not going to be able to insta-kill against Leia. We know that. She stops all cooldown reductions. So Cat isn't going to be able to get a turn 1 insta-kill. And Maul is not going to be able to increase the enemy's cooldowns by 2. Yep. You know, I think that's some cool shit. That's
the team-wide fracture is actually like low-key.
Yeah. That sounds like, cool.
That got my juices pumping. Not gonna lie, because
it depends on how quickly you can ult. Fracture is like one of the best debuffs in the game. It's huge.
It's very powerful.
It's so bananas, and they're just like, team-wide fracture. Now, we don't know the duration, but I don't give a care. Even one turn, it almost feels too powerful.
Yeah. Locked for the rest of the battle. That's what it'll be.
Oh my god. That'd be...
No, it won't be that.
Yeah, because fracture on character speed is set to 0. They can't gain buffs or bonus attacks or bonus turn meter. So they literally just stand there while you beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, and GLs I think lose like 50% speed, 30% counter chance.
I believe so, yeah.
So they
get some muted sort of
fracture on raid bosses, Galactic Legends, minus 50% speed, does not stack with speed down, can't gain buffs, and minus 30% counter chance.
Yeah,
which
that's pretty huge.
Very few GLs have built-in counter chance. So
no, but I mean, minus 50% speed on a GL. Losing 300 speed is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know. Well, you're gonna lap them. Like you're gonna lap them, and your team's gonna naturally just go take a turn before they get a chance to move.
It'll make things very easy.
If it's a 2-turn fracture, like that, the battle's over. Like your team will do nothing for way too long of a time before you can just come back and go, all right, well, everyone's dead, but JMK. So what you gonna do now?
Yeah.
I will stack my damage with my middle, and then I'll miss you and do nothing.
Because I'm as blind as a fucking bat, JMK. Jesus Christ, go to Specsavers, buddy. God damn, JMK. Always missing.
Yeah. But yeah,
I'm excited.
We'll see what happens with that, but for the most part, it's like a lot of things in game. R7 is still R7 now is a fairly real, like it's not a very hard bar to reach.
Achievable, yes.
R8
it's a lot
is still
easier
quite
now
expensive.
Than it used to be. Yeah.
R9 is just absurd. The cost for an R9 is absurd. I don't know why
R9 is right out.
Why they didn't cut the R8 requirements in half going into that or something, because they just made it so expensive to get there. You can literally get to R8s for the price of an R9, and unless it's a required R9, there's no reason to get them. Like, there are teams that become more challenging, but like you guys point out, for the most part, the odds of you fighting those kind of teams in GAC are low because your accounts aren't going to be facing accounts that are in the same ballpark as of
well, I mean, Wolfie and I basically swim in the same circles in GAC now. We're about the same sort of skill rating.
Yeah.
Wolfie could absolutely be higher. But
Edge of Kyber 1, Edge of Kyber 2. Look, I drink and I smoke and I am lazy and I will flirt with the Edge of Kyber 1, Kyber 2, and I will have a damn good time doing it.
Sometimes that's what you need to do in order to enjoy the game, right? Like, I used to be so fixated on staying in Kyber 1, more because of ego than anything. I was like, I must be Kyber 1, but then it just became so unrealistic for my account to stay in Kyber 1. I was just like, there's just no way. When the squishing happened and Kyber 1 decreased from a player base of about 4,000 to a player base of about 1,400, it just became unrealistic for me to stay there. So I became comfortable being Kyber 2.
I do have Slacker, so he does make a good point there. So that is a
Don't you also have Afro too?
I do.
For
a while, I was hanging out in top 200 of Kyber 1, and then just was like, man, what am I trying to prove to myself, to prove to somebody? I'm just sitting here stressing out and planning things and just like going crazy, and there's no need for this. So I would rather fuck around and be asked to have a good time.
I basically take a season of 5v5, I go super sweaty, I get into the top, and then I take the season of 3s and just get dunked on the entire time because I quit caring about it. And then like the next season of 5, I'm like, my morale is so low that I'm like, who really cares? And then by the time that season of 5s ends, we get season of 3, then I start caring a little bit, and then we get the next season of 5s, and I go sweaty and I dunk. I'm like, that's how I just keep right up to where I stay in Kyber 1. But I mean, like I said,
okay, he's in you stay in Kyber 1. Clear, he's being,
I stay in Kyber 1.
Hold on.
I stay in top 50 of Kyber 1.
You gotta understand, it only takes an 0-6 and I fall out at this point.
You're never going 0-6, Garth. You're never going 0-6. At worst, you go
1-2. Last season. I was 5-4.
How is that close to 0-6?
I went 1-2, and then I went 2-1, and then I went 1-2.
That's not close, Garth. That's not close.
I repeat Scribble's question. How is that close to 0-6? Like, we have very different definitions of the word.
I felt like I lost more.
If you went 1-5, I'd be like, yeah, you got close to 0-6. 4
very close, like, bro, 2-4, maybe, but like, oh man, 5-4. Oh god,
it was a rough way. I usually end up somewhere in the 6-3. I did have last season of 5 and into the beginning of 3. I was 9-0 going into after the first week of 3s. I was like, oh god, I'm in danger. Yes. I was in danger. I wound up inside the top 8 and then got absolutely just shithoused.
I genuinely, I say I don't really care about GAC. I do. I actually really enjoy it, and I have still got a certain element of pride. But for me, there is nothing more depressing than going 0-3 in a week of GAC. Even in 3s, like if I can at least go 1-2, like if I go 0-3, I feel so bad. I'm just like, how could I not win one battle? And it just hurts my soul. I go to bed that night and I'm like, God, I suck. I really hate going 0-3. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does,
it's not a very warm and fuzzy feeling, no.
No. I lose complete faith in my abilities. But there we go. Okay. So yeah, Wolfie and I tend to hover around the same sort of skill rating.
Yes.
So we face the similar sorts of accounts, I imagine. So we don't get loads of people with crap loads of Relic 9s. But if you don't have an R9 JML, you're doing it wrong, is all I'd say.
Yes.
That's kind of like the starting ground.
Like, if you're actually going through all the actual Relic 9s and everything, he is the only one, or not, he's the only one. He is the one that benefits the most from going to Relic 9. That call to assist damage, that protection gain and everything with this coin, that is the single most significant Relic 9 jump in the entire game.
It's especially if there's a Datacron set with protection. Because you just you can get so much protection.
It's stupid.
You know, you can deal 130k damage on a call to assist. And it's unavoidable and unmitigatable because it's true damage. It doesn't matter if the defense is. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like that damage is coming in. Like it's huge. It's huge. So outside of like requirements, like ADRAD for profundity, for example, as an R9 requirement, JML is top priority for Relic 9s.
Oh yeah.
So
if you want to actually use the team and get use out of it, 100%.
Yeah. Carthy and Wolf, you need to carry the chat for a couple of minutes. Back in a sec.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna get a beer. Fuck yeah, let's do it.
And Carth is on his own.
It's okay. No, it's okay. Yeah. My beer is right here. I'm literally seconds away. It is all good, Carthy. We got this.
All right.
We are all fucking ready. All right. So, what else do we miss in chat that we haven't talked about yet? All right. So they officially added all the new characters to the raid: Gia, Leia, Drogon, Scout Trooper, Princess Kanisa, Captain Rex. So, all right, real sort of side note kind of question thing. They, for some reason, specifically called out and said that Scout Trooper is going to make Iden more resilient against Wampa because they have a 4-turn cooldown, unresistible days. They think that people are going to be too stupid to save Wampa's Smash Cleanse for after the 4-turn unresistible days. And they actually think that this is going to make Iden stop Wampa.
Well, I mean, at high relics, it will.
Wampa beats Dash with his fucking unresistible days and everything. You just save the smash for after he does it. That's all it comes down to.
I mean, yes, but that's also partly because of the current the cron that just went away is the protection up cron gave you a lot of the wiggle room that you needed. But if you have a high relic dash team that's more offensively on tilt, that team's gonna absolutely roll your face off. Your Wampa's not gonna survive it long enough. The thick cron doesn't even give you that. It can be a risk. But
it can be a risk. But I've had very good results before, but just saving the Wampa Smash for after Dash does his unresistible days. So I'm just saying, specifically for this Iden thing, we've got a 4-turn cooldown on that unresistible days. How much is Scout actually going to stop Wampa? Scribe, you think any bit at all?
Sorry, I missed the start of this conversation. So Scout stopping Wampa. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I know they said
has a 4-turn cooldown, unresistible days. But
4-turn cooldown, unresistible days.
But Wampa can just cleanse.
So it's not an undispellable days. It's not undispellable.
Like an oversight.
Well, that's dumb. Wampa, yeah. Well, use it on offense, and you'll be like, okay, I'll just wait for the days, and then I'll immediately don't get me wrong. I think if you mod relic team for Iden, if you mod for offense, you could probably kill Wampa before he takes that turn to dispel. But other than that,
there are
if you've got enough offense, I think you can.
Team, it can be scary.
She deals a lot of damage, and if you've modded her for crap loads of offense, you don't have to worry about potency if you've got Scout right? You don't have to worry about trying to land that first stun. So you can mod that team for boatloads of offense. If that is enough and somebody takes in a Relic 5 Wampa, he'll probably get smoked. But I think it is an oversight, because I think if a defensive team is built like that and you're not properly reliced up for it, I think it doesn't matter if you save that days, you know what I mean? But
right.
It needs to be undispellable, I think. They could make it 3 turns and undispellable rather than 4 turns and dispellable. Because as soon as it's dispellable, it doesn't matter anymore. Because he's burning through his cooldowns when you're hitting him, you know?
Right.
And
no, that is a really good point, though. Yeah. No, a high relic Iden team is terrifying. Like they do a mass assist, and you're looking at your Wampa sitting there at half health, and you're just like, guys.
It's like, Wampa, I need you to take one turn, honey. Come on, please. And they're like, oh no, he's dead, or she's dead. I don't even know. I think people were saying she was she. She is a she.
Yeah, I think it's
allegedly you can tell based on the horns.
I mean, if there's a horn. If there's a horn.
But yeah, that is a very good point. A high relic Iden team can absolutely tear through Wampa, no scout required. So that is actually
that was the concern back with Kyle Katarn. Like Kyle, if you had a high relic mobile team, they could, if your Wampa wasn't equal relics or built, Kyle could just one tap you. Like he just goes, take 300k to the face and enjoy it. So it's like they get to a certain level where your investment has to be very high to stop certain things. That's the part that they're trying to get into.
I think if they really wanted to lock out a Wampa counter for Iden, all they have to do is say, if the opponent has got bonus protection, all Imperial Trooper allies attack under protection. And that would immediately kill Wampa.
Yeah, it's just...
Or they do what they already have right now with TIE Fighter Pilot, where people put TFP on the Iden team to stop Wampa, where he does tenacity on a basic.
TFP.
Literally,
fuck their Iden team.
Or we just don't put Iden on defense, and you just take her to offense, and you don't worry about it, because
she's got a lot of offense viability.
5 weeks, we're gonna start the new Imperial Remnant team, and that's where Scout's going. So. You know, it's like, what are we gonna care about?
Very true, actually. I can't wait 6 months' time. No, not even that. 4 months' time. 4.5 months' time when we get new Beskar Moff Gideon. I'm hoping that team is I hope it is the Boggs Dollux, because he just looks so goddamn cool.
I think right now, because Imperial Remnants, I'm probably not breaking off Gideon to run an Imperial Remnant team. I don't think it'll be good enough until you actually have new Gideon. But
gotcha.
We'll see how it actually works.
Should I break your heart?
Break my heart.
God damn it!
Break
what are they killing, Karth?
Gently.
What are they killing? Tell me how good is Gideon Lee right now?
No. Right now, no. Awful.
Okay. So we're fine.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
What I'm trying to break his heart for is that Beskar armor Moff Gideon. Will be a TW Omicron character.
Gideon Beskar armor. Gideon Beskar armor, aka GBA.
Yeah,
GBA. Yeah, we've not had that one before. Karth, honestly, I don't care. I don't care if he's
TW. I'm okay.
If he still has viability in GAC, I don't care.
Yeah,
but that's the
as
thing,
long as he's still viable, I'm fine.
Every single fucking TW Omicron Conquest carrier we've gotten is in GAC. It's not even a nuisance. Like,
Trench is not complete ass. If you have an actual Trench team, like with Watt and everything, then Trench is actually pretty good in GAC.
Trench is actually, and they fixed his AI now, haven't they?
Dadbot Boba gets a lot of shit, but he is not nearly as bad as people give him make him out to be.
But not needed. He doesn't
especially
change
in 3v3.
Anything.
Especially in 3v3, he's really nice for taking down Adbrad teams because he has extra attacks on basic to get your contract faster.
Oh, so sure. You put me onto that, Wolfie. That actually saved me. Yeah. That actually saved me in one of my GACs. Like Dadbot Boba, I still love that Bod Boba. He's not great, but he's good.
My point is
he's not killing GLs. He's not like the game changer that he is. But yeah,
well, what I'm saying is that they're not transformative. That's the problem. They don't move the needle on the counters they were designed to work with. Like Fennec is still the better leader inside of GAC than Boba is.
100%.
Boba doesn't have a 100%. Room on that team because of the characters you have to take with it. He makes a decent bounty hunter for bounty hunter lineup, sure, I won't argue that, but
he makes a great support for Fennec.
The team, the team he was supposed to take and build up was the BAM IG-11 and Quill team with Fennec and him, and it does nothing in GAC. That team, it's useful. Does it do stuff? Sure, but it doesn't perform as well as you would need it to, or if you want it to, it requires insane modding. I mean, Van Seal did prove that back when it first came out. If you have insanely good speed on IG-11 and he can cleanse really quick, then you can eventually circle back around and do some annoying things. But it's like, that's the thing that I always feel like with TW Omicron characters, is that the investment has to be pinnacle to be good, versus like GAC Omicron characters, the investment needs to be the Omicron, and you just run around slapping people all day. You know, it's like Starkiller. Yeah, do you want to invest the team up? But it's just Starkiller. Like, if you need to relic the team, it's Starkiller. Put Starkiller to relicate. Everyone else can stay R5, and the team will perform the same. You know, it's like with like
instead of Palpatine, which you need at Relic 7. For reasons.
He's a requirement somewhere else. But that's my point. Is that that's always been the letdown with every TW Omicron. Like even with Grand Inquisitor. Grand Inquisitor you mean
Reva support unit? Yeah.
Yeah. Before Reva came out and he was in GAC, it's like he got beat by so many teams because it was like if you didn't outrun the opposing squad, Grand Inquisitor gets picked to shreds in a heartbeat. You know, Gas could still win versus him
if the Rex was too fast.
If your Rex was fast enough. But the thing is that you just need a Rex to be faster. They have to invest in a very high ceiling for the team to be durable, as well as Seven Sister being faster and everyone being quick. Like, the modding had to be pretty good on the team, and so that's my overall point. Is like every TW Omicron character they've ever released, their power levels outside of TW means that they really are just kind of like maybe an A tier team, A- if you can really commit to it. But if you can't, they fall off. I mean, we're at the point now where, you know, GI gets run over by what people would mostly consider a B team Rogue One squad, and so like there's these different things that every time they've released a TW character, there's just not enough with it to then make the team like super potent, and that's kind of what I get worried
the other
about
side
with
of it
as
TW well is that there also isn't enough incentive in TW for people to care that much, right? It's like because between them not updating the rewards in TW and the fact that so many guilds, I don't want to call it sandbagging, but so many guilds do not make Territory War a mandatory game mode, that it just means that a lot of guilds get easy matchups and end up winning 90% of their TW.
You mean like our guild?
Yeah, like our guild. Absolutely. But why try fucking harder? Why try harder? We don't need a bunch of TW sweats because we're going to win every match, or almost every match anyway. And I'm going to get my rewards. I care about my rewards. So
then
we don't need to have a bunch of TW armies.
Yeah, we had a big push for it, and then it went right out the window because it's like, actually, if we don't push hard, like all we want is like people who play like TW is to perform at a certain level, but we don't really care about like having everybody in the guild do it because it would hurt our rewards. Because the people who don't want to participate, that's their problem. Granted, with as many heroics that are getting required, it's kind of like, if you don't participate in a few of these, you're gonna have a really hard time with everything.
I guess the bigger picture is not engaging in TW will slow down the pace at which you can develop your roster for TB, and I care more about people being able to have the additional materials to do that.
Right.
That's the big thing, right? But I like to think that most guilds have a relatively relaxed approach to TW.
You would hope.
Relatively, yeah.
And can I clarify that I know Karth mentioned it offhanded earlier, but the guild we're in, we're not a small guild. We're 532 million GP. We're not like the biggest guild in the world, but we're not small by any means. We're getting top tier rewards and everything. We're a top 25 guild.
We're for GP. We're up there. It's just the fact that we have like a solid like 7 to 10 players every war that don't join. They don't like TW. They can't, and it's not always the same. We have probably like 5 players who don't play TW. They don't like that aspect. That's fine. We don't make it mandatory.
I actually
and then
like
you always
TW.
have. Then you always have somebody who, well, hey, I got a wedding this weekend. I don't want to be responsible for XYZ, or, I got a work trip. I'm traveling to Japan and back over this week. I can't play, and that's fine. we're not gonna go, oh, well, you gotta sign up anyways. We gotta be at the top. It's like, no, I don't really care,
Yeah.
It's because it's like, what, since Reva's become available in the game, we've fought one guild that had Reva on defense.
Yeah. Which is just done.
Yeah, and it's been like 5 months for us now, so it's like it's just one of those things where it's like if we push too hard, it becomes too much of a challenge, or not too much, but it makes it sweatier than most people would want to get invested into with as much time investment as already in this game. Some people don't want to.
I'm quite happy for
forward more.
The only reason I don't sign up to TW is if I for some reason miss it, which has happened a couple of times, but. Maybe like 5 times max have I accidentally missed TW, because I'm a guy that likes his rewards, but I certainly don't want to. I don't want to be in a TW sweaty guild. I don't want I would much rather be in a place that I can be relaxed, turn up for my TWs, get all my attacks in, because I never miss my attacks. I do them, and just win every TW rather than have to struggle and fight for my TW wins. I prefer easy rewards compared to hard rewards. So,
my last guild, love them, no disrespect or anything. I had to leave because it was more of a TW, focused sort of thing, and remodding for specific counters for every TW and doing all that stuff. It got to be a bit much after a while, and it got to be a little stressful, and had to relax a little bit. Had to go to a little bit step down and have some fun with friends, as opposed to trying to be a sweaty tryhard and everything.
Which again keeps you insane,
no disrespect whatsoever to my last guild. Fucking love you guys. It was absolutely great. But at the same time, oh my god, it just got to be a little bit much with it got to be a little bit much.
Can we just for one moment? We got Urs in the chat. What's going on, Urs? How's the hole doing, brother? Love my man, Urs. Come on, everybody in the chat. Shout out to Urs, one of the OGs, one of the pioneers of Galaxy of Heroes content creation. Just chill in the chat. What was the guild? Wolfie, what was your old guild, if you care to mention?
Oh yeah, my old guild was the Rebel Force Alliance, and it was Rebel Force Tatooine. And again, nice. Great guild, a lot of great people that are still over there. A lot of great times over there. They were very, very helpful to me over the years. Very helpful to just the whole alliance, everything over the years. It just got to be a point that I was not really prepared to still engage with the game. So I needed to go and take a step back, because I didn't want to be a detriment to them. I didn't want to be half-assing. I didn't want to be not pulling my weight and everything. So I figured, hey, let me take a step back and bullshit with some friends rather than
Well, let's be honest. Over. Like this game is a massive time sink, right?
Like,
we're all adults. Well, maybe not all of us, but a lot of us are adults that play this game, right? And we've got real life commitments, and it's enough commitment in this game to just do what you need to do every single day. Log in, develop your roster, think about stuff, mod, build your datacrons, do your conquest, do your arena, whatever it takes. But having to add on the additional stress of remodding for TW and turning up and being available for pings throughout TW, that is a lot of stress, man. So you got to do what you got to do to keep yourself sane and make yourself still enjoy the game if you want to keep playing. If you've got to take a step back and come out of a more competitive environment just to keep playing and be happy, then fucking do it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, fucking do it.
Yeah.
Hey, did you hear? Just because is in the chat, Lobot is getting a rework. When are we going to have Urzatron come back over here and do a little collab with Scribble going over a rework of Lobot against the meta? We got to see it happen. It's got to happen.
We were watching on Friday during his stream some of the old Lobot versus the meta videos, and
hell yes,
absolutely glorious. But yeah, Urz, if you want to do a kit reveal video, my boy Scribble over here, he's got you.
Oh, any day of the week, you're always welcome in these parts. You know that, brother. You know that. Endgame guilds help with that with Ross DC mod building. It's massive. Oh, absolutely. Like big guilds, they are a huge advantage. But you know, the amount of benefit they give you, they expect you to turn up and reciprocate, and that's completely normal. Well, right? Yeah. You know, if you want to swim with the big dogs, you got to be a big dog. You know what I mean?
Like I said, let's be very clear. I benefited a lot from being in that alliance and from being in that guild. From having all of those extra rewards. from being in that end game guild, from being in that extra stuff, from having all those extra rewards, having that knowledge, having that whole that whole player base of all the people who know what they're fucking doing. It is a huge, cannot be discounted, enormous advantage. Abso-fucking-lutely. But again, brother, you need to be putting out as well. You need to be able to put in what you're getting out, and you need to be contributing, and you need to be on your shit, and you need to be doing all that stuff as well. It's not just you sit there and you exist.
Expectation
and you
is high.
Off of them. Yeah, exactly. So you got to be contributing, got to be pulling your weight and doing your thing, or else you're just bringing the guild down. So. Where I had too much respect for them to just sit there and mooch off of it, so I had to had to do the right thing. So that's how it be.
I got respect for that because I don't belong in that level of guild, that level of expectation, and I wouldn't expect that sort of level of guild to carry my sorry ass, as it were. I'm still one of the smallest guild in our accounts, but I still put in the effort. Do you know what I mean?
Because
I know that I can perform there.
You're a top end performer, though, even for the size. It's more. And that's the thing too.
Can you tell that to Mrs. Scribble real quick?
With a direct quote: top end performer.
For the size. For the size, I perform pretty well.
Sorry, for the size.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that tattooed.
Should you R8 your Cal Kestis? No, you should not R8 your Cal Kestis.
Agreed.
There's no point.
Agreed.
There's no point.
No.
I mean, you don't. But you probably should.
If you want to.
You probably shouldn't. There's so many more R8s to focus on. Like, it's just such a wasted... If you're at where I'm at in the game, which is do whatever the hell you feel like, then yeah, R8 stuff that you like. I R9 Jedi Knight Cal. Why? Because I fanboyed and I got him. Outside of that, like, there's no reason. I mean, Zepho's an R7 planet. I mean,
yep. I'll be there in
higher than that, anyways.
Well, just under 2 months. I'll be prepped. I just need the shards on Seer, and I'll be ready to help unlock Zepho. Hopefully, the rest of our guild are equally inclined.
It's pretty close on all of them. I got where is it? I got 29 shards left on Tarful. I got 52 shards left on Seer, and 55 left on Saw. So otherwise, Marin's already at Relic 5. Cal Kestis is already at Relic 7. So it's just those three I still have left to go. So I will be ready when that asshole comes back. Nice. I will be ready. 100%.
Yay!
Yeah, I think I might not have the shards ready for next time, but I'm going to try my damnedest to be ready. It just depends on how quickly it
this
comes
was a
around.
guild requirement. Karth, if you'd like to kick out Scribe and bring me in, I will accept your offer right now.
Wolfie, we will kick anybody out. I'm not an officer, but I'll kick someone out to make room for you, Wolfie.
It's gonna be a low bar to make happen. There is like, can we make room for Wolf? And be like, who do you want gone?
Yeah, let's kick the guild leader, Maddie.
I'm just joking.
Well, Maddie has an alt in the game.
Shara's in the
right
chat.
now.
Just to be clear, I'm joking.
Shara can come too. Come on, Shara. Come join us. You can be in the good guild. But Ram's not coming, Wolf.
No, obviously. Should go without saying.
Oh my god.
Pistol Pete and Mike Hunt. Yep, that's exactly right, Burrow. You know him, huh? Yo, you've been in Mighty Chlorians.
Man.
Good shit, dude. Good shit. Oh my god, where's my beer?
Name.
I have too many empty cans of beer. I have to remember which one's the one that has some in.
At least you're on your own, and you don't have like a minefield ahead of you. I was back in college. People used to use empty cans as like ashtrays, and I
thought you were gonna talk about like urine depositories or something like that.
Oh
that's
no,
a dangerous game.
as like ash.
Oh
no, not as urine depositories,
bullets?
as ashtrays. And
if the can is warm, don't drink it.
Oh yeah, no, bad, no. I wasn't going that far. I was just saying as ashtrays, and yes, I have seen people drink cigarette ash, and it is not enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No bueno.
Dirty pints have been a thing. I remember when I first started going out drinking and we didn't have a lot of money. I remember being in clubs with my best friend and we just picked drinks off the side of the bar. Like people would be around and you'd just be like, "Oh, that drink is unattended. Let's steal that." And you just walk off with it and you drink someone's beer or someone's bottle of alcohol, and you have no idea what's in that drink. You're just like, "Okay, that's fine. It's a free drink." But those days are over. They're behind me.
That reminds me of a meme I saw out of Florida
I can't
over
say
the
I've ever
weekend.
done
Yep.
A guy was spiking his date's drink with Viagra because he wanted to see if she'd get a boner.
If she would get a boner, a lady boner.
Well,
I mean, probably, right?
Didn't know which way it was going, so he spiked it with Viagra to make sure before he took her home.
Jesus
And he got
Christ.
caught doing it.
He got caught? Oh my god.
Yeah, he got caught. He got caught doing it. That's why it made the news.
But yeah,
it's just
funny.
Jesus Christ, that's not cool, man. That's
dumb.
not.
No,
It's
it's just
both not
it's just
cool
funny.
and dumb at the same time. Wow. Okay.
I mean, I
This
imagine.
Viagra works for me. Maybe it'll work in the opposite direction.
I imagine it probably would, right?
Oh,
how does
God.
it? I don't know how it works. If it just because it probably has to. It's not like a medicine can target a point of your body. It's not like
I'm not
they can make a Viagra to make your finger stick up. It's got to be some sort of aphrodisiac or some sort of blood flow increasing thing, right?
Yeah.
So it should work gender irrespective. We're not talking about the ethics of doing this, okay? I'm not condoning the ethics. I'm just curious about the science.
We're just talking about like what would happen.
There's just certain things that it targets when you use it for male. There is female Viagra that targets other things.
What is that? It's called
happening
lubricant.
right now?
No,
even happening right now?
but it's just I'm not gonna get into it on the podcast. It's not even related to Smoke in the slightest.
We're still on the podcast right now. Oh dear God.
I mean, this is going live on YouTube, so oh shit.
I'm here for
actually,
it.
we're not live.
Let's do it.
We're live on Twitch, but it's going up on YouTube. So we're going to be talking
Awesome.
about. I might have to cut this. Oh god. I'm not sure if I have the patience.
Good times. Good times. All right, so Swigo, something.
Yeah. So
yes. Galaxy of nerds and stuff.
I 100% blame Urzatron for that divergence from topic. You see what you do is you turn up.
Entirely.
We're completely off kilter here, dude.
We're just
Viagra isn't
on the
a
fucking
sedative. I agree.
I don't know.
Swig ho, exactly, Bane. Exactly, swig ho. I mean, that's what we were going to call the Tribe Talks podcast at one point, but apparently I wasn't going to drink enough. Today I've had a few beers, only a few.
Swig ho is a good name.
It is a pretty good name.
I am a fan.
Yes, yeah.
It is a very good name. I am a fan. That is quite clever.
The increased blood flow is for once not due to Shara. Increased blood flow not due to Shara. That's it's a first. It's a first, Shara.
It's not my fault for once. Shara.
Oh, just straight out the can now. We're rolling deep, folks.
Well, honestly, Carthrick, I don't fancy walking downstairs to grab myself a glass. So why not just nick it from the bottle?
I'm with you 1,000%, man. You are not looking. I'm not going to argue with you on what you should or shouldn't do here.
I'm glad.
What's nice to beat up on base?
Okay. So I think the only thing we haven't touched on, Carthrick, really, for your perspective, because we've already gone over this already. Wolfie and I have discussed at length. But what do you think about the latest Datacron CES? Is there something you're building out particularly?
I mean, there are a few. I mean, there's probably about a combination in total of maybe a dozen crons I actually want out of this, because there are things that when set 9 drops, set 10 is going to have some things that, depending on the teams you build, you could build some really nasty things. And so I definitely want to get going on them, but the motivation to do it is just in the dirt, because there's nothing, especially in 3v3, I don't think there's anything in this set 10 that 3v3 wise means anything. It just doesn't mean anything to me for what I'm seeing. I think if you did a good job on set 9, you don't really need to worry about what you're gonna do with everything else. Would you look at that? This team still does better with the other things.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, set 9 has just got some really good level 3s. 15%.
The 15%
stacking health and protection is too huge. It's too huge. And you pair that with something like stacking defense is just kind of obnoxious. But we were discussing this earlier, Karth. We were talking about Qui-Gon build Datacrons, sorry. Qui-Gon Army Datacrons. And I'm of the opinion that getting a level 9 Ayla is better than a level 9 Qui-Gon. In a Qui-Gon team.
Because Qui-Gon only increases his own damage, not damage that he shares.
Yeah, it doesn't increase offense.
Well, that would be depending on how they code it, right?
It's damage,
usually
not offense.
Damage is just a multiplier after every other modifier, right? It's after offense times crit damage if he crits. And then it's you multiply that damage. Like Anakin's bonus turn, he deals 100% additional damage if his whole team is Galactic Republic. It's that modifier applied to Qui-Gon, but Qui-Gon's not the damage dealer in that team. Anakin and Cam.
No. Yeah, I mean, the Ayla has such better uses, in my opinion. Because Ayla's unique is very interestingly worded, right? Whenever another ally uses an ability, she assists, dealing 50% more damage. And I feel like that is going to be a much more interesting one to run under either JMK or with JML, because the additional chance to stun, the additional chance to call somebody else to assist means that you have a really high chance of getting your JMK all out faster.
Definitely.
The stunning is going to help keep kind of things under control a little bit easier. I don't think it's going to revolutionize any counter, of course, because if Bausch just says no to assisting versus JMK, so I don't think it makes it too much more powerful.
And so you lose the assist. You're also not going to be stunning while Bausch is alive. So the other benefit of Ayla gets lost there.
Yeah, but I mean, I think in the long run, it depends on what your account is capable of. I think if you're right in the short, if you're short on Jedi, Ayla makes more sense than that. But it depends on how much you're invested into your Qui-Gon team too, right? Because if your Qui-Gon is R7 and the entire team is R8+, if your Qui-Gon's fast enough. if your Qui-Gon's fast enough, does that first ability that he uses that dispels and provides offense up, does that just start one-tapping bitches? Like, that's a serious question to ask. Like, it becomes down to, does a Datacron force the needle over enough to where it's an actual threat for Qui-Gon to move before your Bad Batch team? And if that's the case,
that's the two elements, right? One is do you outpace the Bad Batch? Two is if you do outpace the Bad Batch, does the total relics and the damage that you deal, is that enough to one-tap Wrecker? If you one-tap Wrecker before they even take a turn, you probably steamroll the rest of the team, particularly if you've also got, enough speed on Anakin to start going as well. Because if you start rolling that damage, you probably win out the game.
You probably want to invest in do the crazy actual Qui-Gon team where you have your super fast snips and you have your GK on the team, and you just go balls to the wall with your
whole team,
with your Qui-Gon team, and that may just be a powerhouse for the next couple seasons.
Yeah,
that team may just absolutely fucking clap, and good luck. Hope it goes well for you.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Make sure you have a 380 speed. What's up?
How unfortunate. His special attacks are special damage. So if you have enough armor, it'll negate what he'll do.
What?
Okay, so defense crons will offset it, but
defense crons will help offset it.
You could build that cron to be armor pen. Is he? Oh, he's special.
Qui-Gon's special attacks are special damage. His basic is
you can't. Yeah.
So he'll still do extra damage, but he just won't get the extra armor pen.
Yeah, the question really comes down to is what's the modifier on his abilities, but the key takeaway is that there are pros and cons to it. I think the Qui-Gon level set 9 makes more sense if your team is super high relics, because if the calculator real fast. My Qui-Gon team that I typically run in 5s is a Relic 8 Cam, a Relic 8 Jedi Anakin, a Relic 8 Snips, a Relic 9 Kenobi, and a Relic 7 Qui-Gon. So he's going to gain 200% damage.
A lot of damage.
Okay, so he's going to do 3 times the amount of damage that he would normally deal. Which it's nice, but I'm just wondering, even with all that extra damage, is that still better than Ayla dealing 50% more damage? I know her damage is not huge, but if you pair that with the fact that Qui-Gon's probably going to die, that increases the damage by 200% for all our allies for 2 turns? If Ayla is assisting on every single ability, that's basics and specials, and she has a chance to call her allies to assist, and she stuns and controls...
Yeah, but
is it
she's so hard to. It's so hard to get her fast, though. That's the problem. Is if you play the Bad Batch versus
we were saying we want her slow. We were saying Ayla, you actually want her slow, so when she gets the actual offense, she's assisting from all of her allies.
That makes it easier for Bad Batch just to tell her to pound sand. Because once she gets...
That's why you need the other fast allies, the fast...
Well, yeah. So if Anakin is fast, then Qui-Gon is fast, but she's slow.
Yeah, okay, but if you have Snips and you have GK there, and you gotta have Anakin there, if you're not taking Cam, what are you doing? You've ruined the team.
You need Cam. You need Cam.
Yeah, so if Ayla's gonna take a spot...
So drop Qui-Gon.
You've gotta drop Snips or you gotta drop GK. And that's again where I'm getting. If you want to do an optimal team, you don't want Ayla there. If you're gonna do a leftover Jedi team where the last 2 are maybe Ayla and Barriss or Lumi or whoever you have present, then I could see a case for it.
Maybe she can replace Cam.
No. I think you need his speed. You gotta have that plus 30 speed.
The extra 30 speed.
If there's anybody you're replacing in that, if there's anybody you're replacing, I have to feel it has to be. Well, I was going to say GK because really,
Snips.
you want Qui-Gon to die. You want Qui-Gon to die to gain the offense boost. So you don't want to tank.
But the problem is with Bad Batch is that they can't get around taunts very easily, and GK is the most annoying.
They just have the echo thing.
So if the battle goes askew at all with Bad Batch versus Qui-Gon with GK present, and they get stuck attacking GK, when Anakin gets out of his stun and then blows up the board, he still kills everybody. So it basically when Qui-Gon goes down, if you don't have a buff immunity on GK and Anakin's a free agent, you'll never get to Anakin before he starts killing your team. And so that's the reason why GK would stay. I would say Snips would be the one to go. Snips though is a lot of fun because people just don't like the thing for me in my head right now is I don't see Ayla contributing enough if you're going to run that team. If you're going to already commit Snips or GK to that lineup, Ayla doesn't bring it up to the table anymore. I don't think the abilities, because if she gets stunned and heal blocked, she's useless. She's not going to ever do anything ever again, and that's what's going to happen. If you can get your Echo to move before, like that's the reason why like the Snips is really vital, is because she assists on specials for GR lead, so she cleanses the taunt off of Wrecker, so it doesn't matter if you kill him or not. Cleanses the taunt, allows you to attack anybody else that you want, and then but you have to mod the whole thing is a modding challenge. You have to get 3 people on your team faster than Echo could be, which means like you need 380 plus.
Just to address something that is in the chat right now, we've got a gentleman in the chat saying that the Datacron, is increasing Qui-Gon Jinn's offense. It doesn't say offense; it says damage. All right, it's not increasing his offense, which means he's not sharing that offense with the rest of his team. It's increasing the damage that he deals.
He said it's
Are you sure it's coded differently? I don't think it's been coded like that way in the past.
There is no way that I'm pretty certain that Swigger.gg doesn't show the mechanics for Datacrons. So I'm pretty certain you can't go into the mechanics on Datacrons and see. The Cron is coded to increase offense? Apparently it is on Swigger.gg. If it is, that changes things entirely.
Or
can you give us a direct link to look at that?
I'll have a look now.
It makes,
do you have an actual link or?
Yeah, it's in Treaties. Which one is it? What's the name of the Datacron set?
Set 9. Hold on. Set 10 is Steadfast Resolve.
Steadfast Resolve. Level 9.
But is it actually the offense that he will be passing out? Or will it just be offense that's affecting his damage? Like, when does that actually come into play? And what is Qui-Gon's Omi actually looking for? Like, is that something that will actually be affected by that?
It does say it increases.
But I'm just saying, like, when Qui-Gon's Omicron, like his death and everything comes into effect, like, when is it actually pulling that offense value? Is it pulling it from his base? Is it pulling from his right after modded? Is it pulling it from after the Datacron value? I mean, these are different things. I mean, like, for instance, JML. Like, JML, his call to assist, his coin, does damage based off his protection. It affects, those, like, actual stats and everything coming into effect, like, those, like, base things from the Datacron. But the level 3, with the 15% health of protection, does not actually come into effect. So, will this offense come into effect too late for it to be counted by the Qui-Gon Omicron? I mean, that's the question that more I have. Will it actually come into effect over there? Because I'm not sure that it is. I would need to look further and see some actual testing. Yes, .gg has some wonderful information, but I mean, I would need to see some actual, like, in-game testing to see when it would actually come into effect. Just personally.
I'm just having a look through, just seeing. Times context value over here. Sorry, we're just looking through the mechanics that are on Swigger.gg. See, now there's 2 elements of this, right? There's one to do with CG's wording, right? Because CG usually words things very particular. When they say damage, normally it's not actually increasing offense, it's increasing the damage output, like Anakin increasing his damage output. isn't actually linked to his offense. It's just a multiplier on the damage for the ability for that one turn. And I think there's a few other instances of that. So normally they'd say increases his offense by a certain percentage, but this one says damage, but actually, in actuality, it just says increases his offense. The other side of it is, like Wolfie says, is when does that come into play? When does Qui-Gon Jinn's Omicron share his offense? If it's a permanent ability, so let's look at it from Arc and his turret. Those of you that are not aware,
right?
So
exactly,
Arc Trooper has a turret.
Excellent, excellent.
And Arc Trooper's turret deals damage based on Arc's base offense at the start of battle. So when Fives does his sacrifice and shares all of his stats with the entirety of the 501st, that increase in offense that Arc gets from Fives does not increase the damage of the turret. It stays static. So that's one of the instances where there is an offense increase that happens to the team, but it doesn't actually impact, right? So we need to understand whether this datacron is affecting the overall offense of the entire team, or if it's only affecting Qui-Gon. That's the next stage of it, I guess.
And the turret it doesn't even say that it calls from the base stats. It just says...
It doesn't say, no.
This object's... Yeah, it doesn't even get that specific. It just says this object stats scale with the summoner's stats. So it says it scales with the summoner's stats, but we know that it does not increase after the 5 sacrifice. So it still stays with whatever his base stats were, even though it says it scales with the summoner's stats. So there's a lot of like little things in this game which are we got to test them to actually see how they work out.
That definitely changes things, though. If it does
really
just share current stats, then there's no question that the Qui-Gon Omicron is way better than the Alacron for that particular instance.
Something,
right?
Bro, this is one of those places where I would beg, I would plead, I want to be wrong. Like I am literally begging with fucking the gods that I am wrong in this situation. Like I want Qui-Gon to actually pass out that much offense. I want it to happen. I want to be completely off base. I want just our boy Tomford to say, no, fuck you, Wolf, you are entirely wrong. You are off base, and Qui-Gon is passing out all that offense. I want that to happen so goddamn badly. I don't know. I don't know right now.
We can't test it until Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah, until we actually see the Omicron and GAC. But I want to see that in practice and see what actually happens.
It's a shame that they removed the bonus from Qui-Gon Jinn's Omicron, because his Omicron only affects his allies, right? It doesn't affect himself. It used to affect him as well,
right?
But they removed it from affecting. Yeah. No, when it first came out, it increased his own stats as well as his allies, and then it would get doubled up when he shared it. And when they did the whole rework, they stopped it from working on him. Thing. Yeah,
I think it was his speed thing. Because
he doesn't gain the speed.
Was affecting it too, yeah.
Yeah. So he doesn't. It's either he doesn't gain the speed or he doesn't gain the offense boost from the speed. It's one of the other, so that he's not sharing additional stacks of offense from all that.
Yeah. I think it was like he still gained the offense boost from the speed, but he didn't share that offense boost. I think it's what it was. It was a while ago.
At the start of battle, if there are no galactic legends and all allies are Jedi, all other allies gain offense equal to 30 times their speed. Okay, so basically, if there are no GLs, everybody's gaining offense equal to 30 times their speed. He's not gaining it, doubled while they have foresight, which is great, and can't be defeated while Qui-Gon Jinn is active. Qui-Gon Jinn can't gain DI or stealth, and he can't be revived. When he's defeated, all allies recover 100% health and gain 400% of Qui-Gon's offense for 2 turns. That 400%, we need to check the mechanics on that percentage health pass on agility training, if it's based on base or current. That's the huge thing, right?
That one, I remember back in the day, like I think it used to be based on his speed, because we had changed modding. I remember specifically changing modding on my Qui-Gon. I used to have speed mods on him because I wanted him to have that extra offense boost from the speed. And then they changed it so that he was no longer sharing the speed boosted offense, he was only sharing his mod boosted offense. So I remember specifically changing Qui-Gon to a separate modding from the speed mods to the offense set with, I think I even have an offense primary. Yeah, I have an offense primary on his triangle. Because the offense was now what matters, as opposed to the speed was now that what matters.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a deliberate modding change. Yeah, that was a specific thing I remember doing. Yeah, 100%. Oh yeah.
It was the physical damage value.
Bro, we've gotten into the weeds, and I fucking love it.
We've definitely gotten into the weeds here.
Oh man, so I'm here for it. This is some good shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm for it.
I might have had too much to drink to be looking at mechanics within Swigger.gg.
I'm right there with you.
So query stats, self who is dead, puts the target and their physical damage query. So basically, Qui-Gon dies, puts their physical damage, doesn't say whether it's current or base. That's the issue. Into the context value. Then it says, for all ally side, so every ally who happens to be Jedi, modify physical stat damage by 400% times the context value. Context value would be physical damage of Qui-Gon.
Right.
And then, so the thing is that's still unclear whether that's current or base. Because that's what really matters, if it's current or base. If it's current, it's amazing. If it's base, it's still good, but not as amazing.
That's the reason why they excluded him from his own stuff, was because it was making the threshold too high when he was getting the foresight and the speed boost off of that. So they excluded him from that and put it to his allies just so that he wasn't passing like thousands upon thousands of offense. And I think that if what he said is correct, then this was going to happen: is Qui-Gon's going to go boom. If you delete him and don't have the team under control, he'll go back to killing stuff. But unfortunately, it's still not going to work versus GL, so you can maybe punch up to a few different teams that you could not have before, but it's okay.
What they should have done is they should have put in a level 6 that said, Jedi are immune to stuns, and that would automatically just lock down that counter. That would be great.
Yeah.
It'll probably have too many unintended consequences.
Is whenever another ally uses
an ability, she assists, dealing 50% more damage.
Yeah, you see, that's kind of... I know we're out into the weeds on this one, but that's kind of where I like what Xaereth ended up doing, which was throwing Ayla with Starkiller and swapping out the tank. Because you take so many turns in that you... And with the guaranteed tenacity down, like, the odds of her stunning is pretty high. Like, I'm not saying it's like a guarantee, but it'd be interesting to see where that goes. And that's kind of where I want to lean into more, is using her datacron somewhere else where I think it would have a bigger impact versus trying to use it in a team that doesn't really need it. Like, that's where I'm more or less on the resisting side of, like, putting Ayla there. Is like, I'm pretty sure I would rather just not cannibalize the team further. And run something separately.
My only issue with running Ayla with Starkiller... Actually, no, that's not true. Ignore me. I was going to say that because it's a light side set, you won't benefit from the stats, but they still do. So you can still build up a bunch of offense or armor penetration on your Starkiller team.
Crit avoidance or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't really give a shit about crit avoidance on a Starkiller team personally.
No, not that team in particular. But yeah,
armor pen or offense, absolutely.
Yeah, armor pen. Well, you would probably want crit.
Oh yeah, I mean, Starkiller still does physical damage, so you still want him like doing crazy big hits and everything. Yeah. So I mean, that's just still best. That's the benefit and everything. And yeah, Ayla, like I said, eventually there will be a chance Ayla calls a random ally to assist. And she may call Mara, who will call Palpatine, who will call Starkiller, and suddenly she gets a random call to assist, and then 4/5 of your team is assisting. It's just that can stack up real quick. That can get you going real quick. I was thinking about that myself, and yeah, I'm a fan of Ayla hanging out on a Starkiller team.
I'll be honest. Also, Starkiller. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, no, go Wolf, go Wolf.
I was say real quick with like losing the Jedi tank. Targeting priority goes to Palpatine. Like Rey's whirlwinds, whenever you're doing a 3v3 team, they always go to Palpatine. They pretty much
eats a whirlwind. I'm just saying.
They pretty much only go to your Jedi if it's a tank. Otherwise, they ignore them and they just go and keep whirlwinding Palpatine. So he's like a pseudo tank, almost, like in my experience, at least so far that I've seen.
In most cases, Palpatine will also, if you've got his Zeta to increase his protection by, what is it, 50% or whatever the hell it is?
50%, yeah.
He'll eat a whirlwind with the bonus stats that he gets from the first whirlwind.
Absolutely.
Before Rey has got a chance to stack anything, he'll eat that and still survive. Like, that's the cool thing about Palps. He's a chunky guy. But the only thing I was going to say is, actually, I think that Starkiller, for me, he's probably the team I enjoy playing the most on offense. Out of every single team in the game, I have the most fun playing an EP Starkiller team. Like, that team is great. It's a really satisfying team to play because they punch up so well and they just deal so much damage, so much control, so much TM gain that it's just like, yep, I feel in control this whole battle. And it's fun. I used to set him constantly on defense until I became enlightened.
His face.
And it's one of those very technical teams where like you feel like if you're in control, if you know what you're doing, you really feel like you have a handle on things and you are just dictating the battle. And it feels good. Like the Starkiller team, it just feels like you're just running train. And I have the mechanics, I have the skills, I have a particular set of skills which will be
a very particular set of skills.
It just exactly 100%. It feels good. I love the Starkiller team. I love the games. The Starkiller games. That was absolutely amazing.
The Force Unleashed games
back in the day. Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2. Back on the Xbox, back in the day, those were absolutely amazing games.
I was very unfortunate because I only played those games on PC. And whilst they are still very enjoyable, the gameplay is fun on those games. The ports are abysmal. They are not stable at all on PC. In the Force Unleashed 2 in particular, playing that on PC, so hard. Because whenever you get any point where there is any sort of CGI cutscene, the game will crash. You go into a thing, there'll be no audio. It'll crash or there's no... It's so badly optimized for PC, the port is just terrible. You cannot enjoy it. It's unreliable. So I never really got to play the second one, but the first one was great. I played the first one on PlayStation 3, and I loved it.
They were great games.
They are really fun.
Force Unleashed, I think I enjoyed a lot more the story. Force Unleashed 2, I think like some of the mechanics of it with the dual sabers and all that, the
gameplay felt better in 2
and everything. It was a lot of fun.
The story felt better in 1. The gameplay felt better in 2. So one was better.
It's a good breakdown.
They did so much. They did so much time on like one story element, where it felt like you played 4 levels to progress through one story element. It's just like, nobody cared. I want to be done. Next, please.
Because they did a remaster recently, didn't they? On the Switch for Force Unleashed. Yeah. So I'm wondering how that went down. I didn't bother playing that one. So
I have not owned a Nintendo system since the 64. So it's been a minute.
Oh, it has been a minute for you. That was a great console, though. Monkey Shoulder is okay, dude. Like, it's no Woodford, but Monkey Shoulder is... It's like, it's quite an easy drinking whiskey, you know? It's not harsh on the palate. Larceny, that sounds larceny. Cool. I like it with the keyhole. Good stuff. With the keyhole and the key, it makes me think of a whole Prohibition era speakeasy sort of attitude to it. I like it. It's cool.
And 92 proof, so a little bit stronger, but I'm a fan. And it's a pretty cheap bottle too. It's 30 by me. It's 31 US, so that's really not bad for a bottle of decent bourbon.
25 maybe in the UK. I'm not sure.
It's really not bad for a decent bottle of bourbon.
No. I mean, yeah, I like, yeah.
All things considered, I mean, a bottle of double oak, like I said, the larceny, I'll spend 31 or so for the bottle. A bottle of double oak will be probably $58-$60.
Oof.
So almost double the price. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And this is still pretty solid. So yeah, it adds up.
Well, I mean, that's what counts at the end of the day. All right.
Okay. Just sipping on Carthrick.
We've been
water.
Yeah, it's too early for Carthrick. He's 4 hours behind us. But I think we've probably rambled enough for this one episode of Tribe Talks. We're 3 hours and 15 minutes right now, or 17 minutes.
Oh man.
So I'm going to wrap this up because nobody's going to sit here and listen to 3 hours worth of podcast. If you do, make sure, if you're on Spotify or iTunes right now and you've listened to the entire podcast, leave a comment and tell me, and I will feel so happy about that. We've had some really positive comments within the YouTube and within Discord about people enjoying this podcast. Make sure you guys say that because we give up our time for this, and it's a lot for me to ask people to give up 3 hours of their life to come here and chat about Galaxy of Heroes and just have a good time. Having just one guy say, hey, I enjoy this podcast, is enough to keep us going. So drop those comments, guys. We want to hear it. And we'll be back same time next week. If you're not listening live on Twitch, catch it on the podcast, iTunes, also on YouTube, also on Spotify, also on every good podcasting hosting website. Carthrick, Wolfie, do you guys want to say anything off before we sign off here tonight?
I was going to say, you can't see me because this is a podcast, but I raised a glass and cheers to all of you fucking wonderful, amazing people out here who are chilling and hanging out and are giving us these... Again, not views because this is a podcast, but listens. I guess that's how words work. Cheers to the lot of you. Get that shit in here.
Carthrick, baby, what about
Carthrick?
you?
What am I doing? I got
signing off.
Just signing off, buddy.
Party.
Classic. Good night, guys. We'll be back next week. Cheers, Urs, buddy. Hey, Urs, we got to get you on here. Come join us. We'll have an interview with Urs. That'd be amazing. All right, guys.
100%.
Peace. Good night. May the force be with you all. Good night, guys.